never slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement.
Everything I do so instinctive and so passionate. Every word I move so descriptive like an adjective. I got a vendetta against people who patented being negative when you should be getting after it. I got facts over tracks, this and that, spitting slow, speaking fast. I could roast, I could gas, think I'm okay at last, but I don't know if that can erase all the past. And the pettiness, a reflection of the emptiness. Hilarious, you think you're worth my time, you're delirious. Mysterious, because you are behind a fake exterior. Inferior, you know I'll always be a bit superior. Get off of me, this ain't no humble brag. I want you to hear words, you can say them back. I want you to feel free from the chains that last, and to believe in what you got, it was built to last, yeah.
Now that I've been put through, I never got anyone's help. I had to do it all myself.
I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement.
Gonna learn the consequence of being incompetent. Mental health is confidence, dreams and some honestness. I'm not here to save the day, that's for you to take away. I could play a million mind games, but instead I say something not illogical, something that is topical. Rub it on and watch it go, make yourself unstoppable. Dreams are irresponsible, but they're always possible. If you just believe, you could be so remarkable.
Thoughts in my head, a collage and they spread. I'll be great one day, going off of my meds. No, I'm not giving up, no, I'm not giving in. I will make it to the top, taking off in the wind. I gotta make it, I'm saving every day to taste it. I'm patient, but my mind, it can hardly take it. I'm chasing a dream that I've had for several ages. A vacant, modern kingdom for the taking.
Now that I've been put through.
Thank y'all for tuning back in. We back in here, my brothers and sisters. What's going on with you tonight? Appreciate y'all rocking with the channel, PBK9 Dog TV and News, giving it to you the way I always do, fair and unbiased. Some gonna like it, some ain't, man. Y'all hit that subscribe button, y'all hit that like button before y'all get up out of here. You know, drop down in the comments like your brothers and sisters always do. Big shout out to brother Ken Lightning down up in the chat, you know, before the video even start. Big salute to the brothers down in the chat. I'm gonna get down there in a minute. We got some breaking dog news for the day. We got some dog talk. We're gonna talk about, you know, some dog talk for the night. I'm gonna see what's up with my brothers and my sisters. I ain't talked to y'all in a minute live. You know, we just gonna do it how we do it, man. PBK style. You know, PBK style. Let me see who up in this chat, man. Let me see who up in this chat. Big salute to the brother Main Bond. What's going on? Big salute to you, fam. Robert T, salute to you, my brother. Eric Mason, big shouts out to you. Hope you had a great day. Scatterbread Kennels, what's going on? What's going on with you? Yeah, we got some dog talk for the night, man. And like I say, I got that breaking news fresh on the press. I told y'all them CNN satellites in outer space were kind of acting up, you know what I'm saying, over the past few weeks, but they tune right back in. You know what I'm saying? They tune right back in. We got something coming from Tennessee. We got something coming live from Tennessee, and you know you heard it first. PBK9's Dog Talking News. Now, before I get started in that, I do want to say big salute to Mr. Fatberg and Lamonte Kennels. I want to check y'all boys' pups out, man, off of the dogs' names. You know, I just had it at the tip of my tongue, man. But I know y'all got some puppies, you know, and I want to check them out, man. So y'all hit me up, holler at me, Lamonte Kennels and Mr. Fatberg. You know, the young bulldoggers out there, man. The young boys out there doing the right things with them dogs, you know. Now, before I get into that dog talk, you know, let's just talk about this. What's a yard dog? What's a yard dog? What's a yard dog, my brothers and my sisters? A yard dog is a dog that only performs in the yard. You know, a dog who he tough in their yard, But you take him outside that yard, his tail tucking his ass. You wouldn't know how, you wouldn't believe how many dogs across this country are yard dogs. But the thing is, in this particular situation, I'm gonna use the yard dog as an analogy. For we got yard dog brothers and sisters across this world, you know, with a yard dog mentality. You know what I'm saying? And I'm speaking mostly to my younger brothers right now. Don't get fooled by them brothers out there with a yard dog mentality. Them brothers that, you know, they only reacting around certain people. They only reacting when they're in certain places. If you take them outside of their comfort zone, if you take them outside of their yard, they don't act the same. You know what I'm saying? Beware of them type of folk, my young brothers, and that way you can still do your dog thing, and you step over them kind of folk like stepping stools. You know what I'm saying? Yard dogs. Don't get tricked off the streets, you know, and locked up in some jail because you done went out here and did something, and the person you did it to is nothing but a yard dog. They only gonna talk in the yard around certain people when they're with certain people or they impress certain people. You know what I'm saying? When you got folk who react the same way in the yard as they gonna react 10 states over. You know what I'm saying? You got them kind of folk, and I done seen it. Believe me, my brothers and sisters, you know, I can get down to telling the story of how it really go, but I'm just gonna say it like this. I done seen it, man. You take some of these folk out of the atmosphere, they ain't gangsters no more. They ain't popping none of that stuff they were popping before. You know, and that's what we call the yard dog mentality. So don't get fooled by that, my young brothers out there, man. My older brothers, they already own it, you know. They already own it. Now, I will say, Bubba Max, I don't got no problem with you either. I just had to, you know, kick it to you how I had to kick it to you. You know what I'm saying? But as far as problems of going back and forth, I don't got no problems with you, big dog. You know, your dogs look good. Y'all look good. Take care of your dogs. Do your thing. You know what I'm saying? But just let me do my thing over here. You know, it just is what it is when it comes to that. I ain't going to waste too much time on it, you know. But I do want to talk about this real quick. You know, it's good that everybody don't know everybody. You know what I'm saying? Because in a world where everybody know everybody, it ain't gonna go down the way you want it to go down. You see, and a lot of folk don't understand how big this country really is. When we say, "Oh, because you don't know the people I know, you're a nobody," or "I don't know the people you don't know, I'm a nobody." This is a big country, man. A lot of brothers haven't left their city, let alone left the state. And them part of the yard dogs I'm talking about. You know what I'm saying? Part of the yard dogs. You take them out of state, they acting cool. But anyway, the people you know don't make me, and the people I know don't make you. And like I said, this country is big. We have yet all the dog talk and all the dog news we done did on these channels. We have yet to hear from any dog brothers in Alaska, any dog brothers in North Dakota, South Dakota, Wyoming, you know what I'm saying? Idaho. We ain't heard about no dog brothers with no dog stories, period, from that. And you's a damn fool if you think them brothers ain't bulldog, you know, wherever they at. So understand that these dog stories that we give, brothers, and everybody have their own opinion about certain things, but it's only for your area. Even if you think you was the bulldogger of the bulldogger in the sporting dog journals, it's only for your area. You went everywhere. You know, you got brothers in Maine you don't even hear about. Coming down from Maine when you go up north, coming back down towards New York. As far as we want to go as New York and Connecticut when we hear about dog brothers, but this brother's been bulldogging way higher than that. So understand, the people I know don't make you, the people you know don't make me, and they don't make me less, or they don't make you less because you don't know the folk I know. You know what I'm saying? Well, once we get that understanding, we'll be all right. You know, and then it'll be easier for brothers be treating brothers like they somebody, because I don't know the people you know. You don't want to treat me like somebody, or because you don't know the people I know, I ain't gonna treat you like somebody. Nah, you know, we all somebody. You know what I'm saying? We all somebody. Mad Max, what I'm gonna do with him, Bruce Banner? Salute to you, Mad Max. Salute to you, my brother. Bruce Banner, what I'm gonna do with him, big dog? You know, El Chicano, salute to you. I'm gonna explain to you what I'm talking about, big dog, when I'm talking about yard dog. I think that's what you're talking about. The yard dog means, you know what a yard dog is, a dog that only performs in the yard. I said we're going to use this analogy before we get deep into the dog talk. We're going to use this yard dog analogy for to deal with humans, because we got people out here with yard dog mentalities. And I'm speaking to my young brothers, for my young brothers. Don't get food off these streets by brothers with yard dog mentalities. They only popping that shit they pop in the city that they stay in. They only popping that shit that they pop in the yard that they stay in the neighborhood that they be in on the corner that they be in. Don't get fooled by yard dogs around certain people that, when you take these brothers and you take them to California, the brothers that's from North Carolina, South Carolina, Florida, some of these brothers, you take them to California, they're the coolest dudes you ever want to meet. You bring them back to South Carolina, and now you don't want to be around them no more. That's what I'm talking about. Yard dog mentalities. However you is, when you in that yard, you stand on that when you go somewhere else. If you know to respect people when you go other places, then live by respect where you at. That's what I'm saying. Don't get fooled off these streets. Don't get fooled by none of these folk with their yard dog mentality. You know what I'm saying? Even in the dog game, yard dog mentality in these chats and on Facebook. You popping that jump on Facebook and on them chats, and you ain't never bulldog. Yard dog mentalities. And then when you did bulldog, you ain't leave out your yard, literally out your yard, the part that you own, your yard. That's what it is, man. Don't get fooled by it. These brothers will get up here and talk about this and that, have you thinking they were bulldogging and they never left the damn yard. Period. Trick you out everything you got because you want to believe it. You know what I'm saying? AQ Henry. No, my brother. Yeah, I got people that can validate. I done been from here to Flatbush, Brooklyn on Flatbush Avenue, strapped with my 4/5, my P90 Ruger. You know what I'm saying? Because I done got my damn car broke in the last time I went down there. I'm going to act the same way. The same way I'm getting down in South Carolina, I'm getting down wherever I go at. I respect people where I'm at. I don't got no problem know where I go at. But at the end of the day, if I pop that shit in my yard, I'm going to pop that shit around the corner. I'm going to pop that shit on the next in Myrtle Beach. I'm going to pop that shit in North Myrtle Beach, Poplar, Longs, Lords, Anna. No matter where I go at, I'm not a yard dog, big dog. That's what I'm trying to explain to brothers. Now, if you want to get up here and explain the yard dog mentality, and at the end of the day, the yard dog mentality don't always got to do with violence. You always want to do something when you're around people. You want to have good ideas when you're around people. Take you from around everybody, and what can you come up with you on your own? You know what I'm saying? Or you're gonna be a yard dog. You need help from the next folk. At the end of the day, man, that's what I'm talking about, and I'm explaining really to my young brothers. Because most of my older brothers know don't get tricked about certain things. And I was kind of speaking on that, saying we're gonna use the human analogy because I was getting into that before we got deep into this dog talk. You know what I'm saying? But we got a lot of yard dogs out there, dog. It just is what it is. These brothers gangsters on Facebook. They ain't gonna do shit when you see them in the streets. Gangster on YouTube ain't gonna do nothing when you see them in the streets. Yard dogs. I've seen it before. That's why I don't worry about none of that type of stuff. And I'm using that as a topic to start this video off tonight. Now, I will say this. A lot of y'all old schoolers, you side in your ways. You ain't gonna never see the dog game for what we gonna make this shit into in the next couple of years. You ain't gonna never see it that way, and you gonna always disagree with what we talking about and doing the positive things with these dog American Pitbull Terriers to make them last, because you shot in your ways, the old ways that you had. A lot of y'all old schoolers like that. The way of thinking that you had in the late 90s or the early 90s or the 80s or the 70s or whenever. We really don't got the problem with the brothers from the 70s, the way they thinking, because most of them older brothers, they ain't trying to know however they think is what they think. But most of the brothers from the 90s that was already in the game, y'all stuck in y'all ways. And if we leave this dog game to y'all, it'll be extinct sooner or later, because y'all don't got the common sense to tell these brothers what's going on out here in the dog game. You know what I'm saying? All y'all want to do is live off these old ass stories and sell brothers dogs and send them out there in the world to think it's going down the way it went down with 60 years ago, 50 years ago. You forgot to tell that brother about the Rico and the racketeering and all that other stuff. But we're going to talk about all that. You know what I'm saying? Because like I say, them satellites from outer space, they chimed in on this one. Yes, sir. We just wait until we get brothers and sisters up in here. City Boy Kennels, what's going on with you, big dog? You know, Hollis Houghton, what's going on? What's going on? Salute to you. You know, Aubrey Harris, you down show said some facts on that one. Good lawyers cost too much. I tell you all the time, it's cheaper to stay out of trouble than to get out of trouble. A lot of times you can't get out. You can just get out of jail. Paying ain't getting you out of trouble. It's getting you out of jail and getting you sometimes get you a better sentence or whatever. But for the most part, especially dealing with these dogs, that might go fed. A lot of these boys can't even afford a fed lawyer. You know, let's just be real about all this shit, man. You want a blood? I ain't even got to the dog talk. We got a lot of dog talk to talk about. You know what I'm saying? But you want a bloodline and all this, but the feds take over whatever case you're involved with. You ain't got enough to get a lawyer to go fed. You use the public defenders in the state. So imagine you going to the Fed and them lawyers that you got can't even represent you no more. Now you're in the Fed in the cell with somebody who getting all the information and about to go back and use it against you later on down the line. Because you don't know the system and you thought this dog game was a joke. A lot of y'all don't know how deep you really is in this game. You play this game like it's a joke, but you deeper than you think. You better ride right. You know what I'm saying? Like I said before, man, you can be doing good, you can be doing right, but the next person that you're dealing with can be making the wrong moves. And it can lead back to what you're trying to do. So you just got to be careful, man. You just got to be careful. That's all we all can do. You know what I'm saying? That's all we all can do. Almighty One, what's going on? What's going on with you? What's going on with you? One thing about saving a brother in this dog game, man, and helping a brother in this dog game, you know, and I don't mind doing it. One thing about it, because you never know who gonna be, what they gonna be one day. You know what I'm saying? We might be helping a brother that was gonna get in this dog situation that could have screwed everything up from that point on, but he ended up being a doctor. Saving another brother that needed a heart or something, he saved him. You know, so it's helping one brother can seem simple, but this shit can be way more far complex than we even think or we even know. You know, helping that man over there, and little do you know, instead of making that wrong move, he was able to live life, enjoy life, have kids, have grandkids, do all this other stuff. If he would have made that bad move, he would have been in jail, locked up half his life, wouldn't have had no kids, wouldn't have had no generation or nothing to carry on. So it's like helping one person, man, is worth it. So imagine if you can help 100, help 200 or 300, you know, just helping one is worth it, man, at the end of the day. Now, I want to answer a question a brother said, and he was asking on Facebook, how can you tell if a dog is paper hung or not? Can you tell if a dog is paper hung or not? Now, I'm going to say it like this. I've seen a few answers. I'm going to say no, and I'm going to say yes at the same time. You know, it just depends on what kind of papers you got and what kind of dog that you're looking at in your face. If you got a black dog and it says it's straight Big John stuff without any outs in it, and it's black. Now, Big John dogs got the outs in it now, that's black. But if it don't got no outs in it and it's black, and then you're looking at the pedigree, yeah, you can tell it's paper hung. You know, if you're looking at a dog that's coming, you know, all red boy dog, directly off red boy and bred back to red boy daughter, and the dog black. And red boy, the dog that he bred red boy to don't got no black in it at all. You know, and this little puppy, this one puppy black, or half the little black, then you may know something is wrong with the pedigree. But for the most part, you're not gonna know if the brother who's doing it, you know what they're doing. you're not gonna know for the most part. And like I always say, worry about the dog that you got in your face. You know what I'm saying? Because Yellow One, what's going on with you? Because brother Patrick done solidified it for us. Salute to you, Patrick. Salute to you. You know, but I want to touch on this as well. He done solidified that all the OGs didn't know it is what it is. Put the papers on them, do them how you got to do them. But what I want to ask you, brother Patrick, you know, because we know, brother Bubba, I told you I ain't got no problem with you, but I want to ask brother Patrick something, you know, and I'm talking to the dog community, the dog world. You know what I'm saying? What you did, you made fun of what you did because you had a stolen dog. Bolio wasn't your dog, brother Patrick. So my question to you is, how can you get up here, you know, what will make you keep another man dog when you know that's not your dog? You know, see, we got to make great examples for these brothers today. We can't get up here bragging about having another man dog, and because you made a name for yourself in the dog game, it's supposed to be okay. No, see, Bolio wasn't yours. He was Indian Sonny's on. You know, it don't matter if you how you did with the papers or whatever. You was wrong from the day that you knew that man, whether you had problems with him or not. You know, you don't want nobody to steal your dogs, Patrick. So what kind of example you trying to make to these young brothers that we out here preaching to every day? We're not going to let that go. We're not going to let that slide. That shit you did, that wasn't right. We talk about that every day. That's like me getting a stolen dog. I know it's Mad Max, so I know this show enough by time on one of them boys' dog, and because I know it's stolen, I don't get it registered, but I'm going to get puppies and stuff off of them. I'm going to get puppies and stuff off of them. Nah, you ain't shit for that, Patrick. You know, you wasn't shit for that. I ain't got nothing to do with your dog game, but for that move that you made with Bolio, that wasn't a right move. You know, and that's what difference between some channels and other ones. Y'all gonna bite your tongue, I'm gonna tell you what it is. You up here bragging about having a stolen dog, how you bred it with buck and did this and whatever, however. That's why I tell brothers, worry about what you got in your yard, what you can see, what you can touch. Because when it came to that dollar, back in them days, them brothers got greedy. Them dope boys already had the bread. And them boys weren't used to that type of bread. They was willing to do whatever they had to do to keep that dope boy money coming. Yellow died. They bred Yellow 2 or 3 years after Yellow was dead. Now because you think it's 30 years, 40 years later, it's cool to get up here and brag about Indian Sonny, dog. But would you do that, Patrick, if Indian Sonny can get up here and talk on my channel? See, we're not going to glorify dog thieves. I don't give a damn how old you is. You know what I'm saying? It just is what it is. It is what it is. You didn't steal it. You had one and you know it was stolen. The hell with a dog thief and the hell with people that got dogs that stolen. They know they stolen. You know, I don't give a damn if it's Tom Garner, PBK9s, welcome out, whoever, big Evolution, Titan, whoever, any kennel. If we supposed to be reputable dog men, but because we talking about historical dogs, we willing to give a brother props because you got a stolen dog. You know what Indian Sonny could have did with that dog if y'all wouldn't have stole that dog from him? Not you, Patrick, but whoever did steal the dog. You know, and you could have had a problem with him. Oh, I ain't giving him back. I don't like him anyway. But that same thing, I guarantee you, before you got out the game, that same thing happened to you. We just don't know about it. Before you got out the game, somebody else hit you for your dogs like that. You know? But it's cool. I'm just saying, I had to make a correction, man, because we're not going to glorify, and especially when you get up here and validate it for us, you know. We only want to hear stories from Bolio. We hear the Bolio stories, but we want to hear them from the man who owned the dog. You know what I'm saying? He could tell me what's what with him. And by y'all going to ADBA, straightening all that stuff out, clarifying all that stuff with a stolen dog, furthermore lets me know how crooked a lot of the paper registrations is when it comes to the buddy system. Because if you was real solid with it, there's no way in hell you gonna straighten something out with ADBA with a dog that you bred while you had it real stolen. That's why I say y'all don't want the dog game to change. Y'all want it to stay right there so y'all can stay on these high pedestals, stay with people thinking this and people thinking that when y'all was making a lot of shitty ass moves when it come to these dog games. You know? They just plain out simple, man. We ain't had no other brothers from no other bloodline. We had brothers that get up there and tell what they did with the dogs, or if they took them or something. We ain't had no other brother from no other historical dog that bragged about or got up there and told them, you know, about how he had the man dog and he knew who dog was, but he could have returned them back just like that. And you don't think, Pat Patrick, you don't think Indian Sonny would have gave you a dog? You know, you don't think he would give you dogs off Bolio if you'd have returned this dog? No, but you was thinking, I gotta get something off this dog. Forget what you tell the mother boys. If you weren't thinking that, you would have gave the man his dog back. But hey, I ain't gonna waste too much time on that, man. You know, I just had to say, man, we don't glorify folk who do things with stolen dogs. It wouldn't work nowadays, so it just is what it is, man. It is what it is. Washed up old schoolers that don't want the dog game to change. You know, but y'all too late, though. Y'all too late. Now, I got an update for y'all. We're going to get a little update on a little bit of news real quick coming from Aiken, South Carolina. Now, I gave y'all the news article about a few weeks ago, but the update just was yesterday or the day before yesterday or one of them days. So I want y'all to check this out. And I played the old video that way y'all can remember and remember when you seen this guy at on the old video. So y'all check this out.
Suspect in custody for dog fighting and ill-treated animals. Anthony Ward was arrested on Thursday in Aiken County, according to records. Code enforcement says a search warrant was executed at a property on Colbert Bridge Road for possible dog fighting and ill-treated animals. A total of 12 dogs were seized from the property. Ward is charged with animal fighting and baiting, improper buying, and burying, and more.
Law enforcement officers recently arrested a second person as part of an ongoing dogfighting investigation. Aiken Code enforcement officers arrested Victoria Lopez, 23.
Now, hold up. Let me pause this for y'all for a second. Now, to all my ladies that's listening, if I got any ladies listening right now, you know, this is a prime example, why you don't get involved with certain things your old man got going on. This brother got locked up. And for what I'm looking at, for what I'm going on common sense, the young lady get locked up 2 months or 2 months later, he gave his wife up. You know, gave his old lady up. But y'all continue to watch this video.
Of Aiken, October 15th, according to Aiken County Detention Center records, Aiken County Code Enforcement. An incident report was not available Wednesday. Lopez was arrested in connection with an ongoing investigation of a dogfighting ring at a Colbert Bridge Road residence, according to an Aiken County Code Enforcement officer. Officers executed a search warrant at the residence August 22nd and seized 12 dogs as part of the investigation, according to a news release. Lopez has been charged with 1 count of dogfighting, 2 counts of ill treatment of animals, and conspiracy. An Aiken County magistrate set Lopez's bond at $2,000, according to detention center records. She remains in the detention center as of 12:45 p.m. Wednesday. Lopez is the second person arrested in connection with the investigation. Ward faces charges of animal fighting, ill treatment of animals, conspiracy, and improper burying of an animal's body.
Now, I don't know how they locked her up 2 months after he got locked up. I mean, just common sense tell you that, you know, and I just say it's his girlfriend because, you know, it's a female. She might not be his girl, but it dang sure locked up. You know what I'm saying? So that just teach you, man, that there's a lot of times you got to mind your business. Don't get involved with a lot of this stuff. And a lot of brothers keep your old ladies from being involved with these things. You know what I'm saying? Now let's get into another little article right here. I want y'all to check something out. They locked this brother here up. You know, I don't got a picture of the brother, but I got a picture of why they locked him up for. He left a dog tied to the pole during Hurricane Milton, and they rescued the dog. So y'all check this out.
But it's okay, buddy. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. I don't blame you. I don't blame you. It's okay, buddy. It's okay.
Now that was the dog. That dog looked pretty good right there, man. That dog looked pretty good. Look like a bull terrier, though. Big salute to everybody in the chat, man. Y'all hit that like button up. John Denver, what's going on? What's going on with you? Bubba 101, Bubba 101, what's going on? Salute to you tonight. Don Juan Black in the house. Yes, sir. Hey, boy, I got that news. I ain't gonna lie to you, man. Hold on, let me give you a little bit more of it real quick. I got an update. Coming from Texas now. Or what's going on with these dogs coming from Smith County, Texas, dog fighting situation.
Right. Smith County Animal Shelter is currently still the home of some of the dogs that were rescued that we told you about from the dog fighting ring last month. As KLTV7's April Peardon reports tonight, the Smith County community is hard at work to find these dogs their permanent homes. Good girl.
Lips is one of the 60 dogs rescued from a dog fighting ring in Smith County back in September.
None of the seizure dogs that we took back in September are adopted. We have reached out to some rescues, and there's been some that have come and taken some of them.
A behavioral specialist from Jacksonville, Florida, came to Smith County Animal Control Center this weekend to evaluate 39 of their dogs in hopes to find them home soon.
We can place some with rescues that are familiar with the game bred pits and preferably out of Texas, so none of them end up back in this area because we just don't want them back into a situation that they just come out of.
Some of the dogs are currently under veterinary care in both Nicholas Pet Haven and Spence and White Veterinary Hospital in Tyler.
We had the 6 criticals. This is one of them. She's the one that had her face so badly torn up, and it looks much better now. She's healed except for her scarring.
And from the ones at Spence and White Veterinary Hospital, one of them recently got adopted.
One of the dogs found its forever home, so it left the county. The other 5 we still have.
Spence says everyone is doing their part to help find these dogs safe homes.
Nicholas Pet Haven is working with an out-of-state rescue, and probably within 3 to 4 weeks we're hoping these dogs are going to be able to transport up north and find their homes.
And he says he hopes it's a home they can call their forever home. April Peardon, KLTV 7 News.
They hope that's the case. Smith County Animal Control Center says they hope the seizure dogs can potentially leave the shelter soon within the next few weeks.
All right. Now, I still got that Tennessee dog fighting bus. You know what I'm saying? Tennessee dog fighting bus. But we got some things to talk about real quick, because we got to talk about a little bit of them blue dogs too. We got some blue dog topic to talk about. But I want to say, man, it's funny. I'm going to tell you some funny stuff. You get banned from these dog groups, right? Y'all dog brothers got to do better, man. Dog group brothers. And them groups who the brothers who run in the groups. How can y'all ban somebody from saying something when y'all don't ban somebody for posting dog fighting videos? I don't understand it. A brother can say something, or a brother can post something that's legitimate, that's positive, as far as a dog that you feel like he's selling. Like, how can you ban brothers for trying to sell their dogs, but you won't ban the dog fighting videos on your channel? That don't make sense. That's only making your channel look like it's made for this type of stuff. Like, do you not understand what it makes you look like? You know? I mean, if I'm just an average person, average Joe, and I jump on your page, you know what I'm saying? And then when I jump on your page, I'm strolling all through the pages and I see a dog fighting video, and I see people got comments for comments for comments and likes and likes. The most likes out of everybody pictures, I'm gonna think certain things about your group. And it's just crazy, man, because I noticed that I seen a dog fighting video up the other day. I said, dang, these brothers will kick y'all for calling a brother a name, but they won't kick the person who put that video out. But it's all good, man. Like I said, a lot of this stuff is ass backwards in this game, and you get ass backwards results in this game. Now, let's talk about the Blue Dog real quick before we get into that Tennessee dog fight situation. One guy said the area that he from, they call the Blue Dogs. Now, that's the question I got for my brothers. Do y'all think, or do y'all agree that they called the Blue Dogs back in the days? Did they call the Blue Dogs? Brother said he from the area where they call the Blue Dogs. I mean, I'm just trying to figure out, if that's correct. My thing is, if you can call a dog, if you can call the Blue Dog, and I hope the brother's listening to me now. If you can call the Blue Dog, that only means one thing. The dog is American Pitbull Terrier of unsatisfied qualities, traits. People weren't satisfied with it, which only proves what them brothers are saying. So you get up here and you try to talk down on the Blue Dog and say they call, but what you said, you didn't even understand the way you said it. Calling is taking a litter of dogs and not keeping the ones that ain't right. But at the end of the day, it comes off of a litter. A litter of what? A litter of dogs who made the cut, the ones who didn't make the cut. All the dogs are the same breed. So if they calling the dogs, that means there was pit bulls in that litter. See, you help them boys in that statement. While you were trying to knock them boys in that statement, you help them at the same time. Because if you can call something, that means it was around. If it was they didn't like the pink dogs back in the 60s. Brothers don't believe they exist. They called all the pink dogs. They wasn't pit bulls. But if you called them, what was you breeding? You calling off your stock. The brother that made that statement on Facebook, he was speaking on game dog stock dogs. You can't call a dog that ain't on your litter. When you gonna bring a dog in just to color them? Don't bring them in from the start. You only call dogs that you produce from your stock. That's what the word call means, to get rid of, out of a group of something. When you go to football practice, and everybody when they go to spring training, that's all they doing is a culling process. We getting rid of the ones who we're not going to use. We bringing the starting people here, the main cast, the people who made the team, the cut. Everybody else got called. But at the end of the day, that don't take nothing from what they was. They just didn't make the team. Just didn't make the team. It just is what it is, man. It is what it is. Brothers, they was showing you the stuff coming off of the Boudreaux line stuff, and that was making the Blue Dogs, and that was the only brother that got up here that had the pedigree and the story to go behind dogs that he possessed that turned and came out blue. So I'm not even going to argue with no other brother about did the Blue Dogs exist or none of that. You got millions of people across this country. Like I told you before about these old schoolers, they stuck in their ways. Some of them not big as they think they was if they think them Blue Dogs didn't exist. A lot of y'all ain't big as you think you was. If you think them Blue Dogs didn't exist, they just didn't exist where you was from. Remember, we got 50 states. A lot of y'all only know your county or know your city. It just is what it is, man. Them Blue Dogs, they had to be around if you can call them. And if I wish I could get that brother up here, I ain't gonna say no name, but he know who I'm talking to. And like I said, I just want an explanation for the statement, not even saying your statement is wrong or none of that, But if you can call something, it gotta be coming from your bitch, coming from your sire or whatever you breeding or whatever you got over there. You know, this says somebody give you a litter of puppies. They can give you a whole litter of puppies. And you can cull from that litter and you didn't even produce it, but you have to have it in your possession in order to cull it. You know, now, if you should have clarified it like that, folk giving brothers dogs. See, when you're giving folk dogs, you don't know what you get. But he didn't say that. He just said they culled back in his era, you know. So I'm saying if they culled, that means the dogs existed. They just wasn't up the standards of what you wanted to roll with. Now, I'm what I'm trying to figure out is what will make them not want the blue dog? What would make them not want the blue dog if dogs came out blue off your litter? Because we ain't got not one person that got up here yet and said that somebody with an old school story said that the blue dogs weren't game as the other dogs. Not these modern day Staffordshires from the 70s and the 80s and the 90s and all that type of stuff when them brothers was taking the gameness out of the staff. I'm not talking about them. I'm talking about like my man got that Boudreaux dog that came out blue. You think that blue dog wasn't gonna do the same thing that them black dogs did or the red dogs did? See, that's all people from our time talking about people from them boys' time, and they ain't do half the stuff that we say they did. They call this, they call that. Them boys, if their dog was a bulldog, because they didn't care about all that shit that we cared about. They cared about if it was a bulldog or not. If it was a bulldog, them boys wasn't getting rid of it. You know, and out of all the colors, you telling me the blue couldn't last over the white? You telling me the white pit bull came out to be more gamer than the ones that was coming out of the blue, the real blue color? You crazy as hell. I believe a lot of things, but I ain't gonna believe that the white dogs lasted the test of time and they called the blue dogs because they wasn't game. It's just the fact that they don't get them blue dogs in them dogs all the time. It's genetic traits and shit pop up here and there. So you can't control it like you can control in them bullies. You know, you can control that blue gene in them bullies. From what we seeing in these game dogs, you can't control that blue gene. Even when you got brothers who got dogs that are blue, they don't throw blue dogs. They come every so often. You can't control them like them bullies. If you got a blue bully and I breed them with metal yellow, I'm gonna get blue fawn color dogs. If I got a blue dog off of Boudreaux's black dogs, we done got the proof in the pudding. Not saying that none of them won't have that gray color, but the chances on them coming out gray is a whole lot slimmer than the chances of a bully type gray breeding of my dog coming out. So I'm not gonna really argue with them boys about did the blue dog exist. I'm gonna leave that to everybody else to do research on and to figure out if they did exist or didn't exist or whatever. I just, in my opinion, I'm comfortable with saying I believe they existed. You know what I'm saying? When we talk about them bullies and all that, we're not talking about them. We only talking about straight American game dogs. You know, and I just believe the color is so hard to get. You know, and you got to work with certain colors in order to get that blue from the start. You got to be dealing with black dogs. If a lot of brothers, if you're not dealing with black, how can I expect to get a blue pit bull? If I'm running red, buckskin, and all these other dogs, you know, how can I expect to get a blue? And brothers, all these years, everybody wasn't running black. Only certain brothers that were running black dogs. And then what if I'm breeding black to red nose, breeding black to buckskin? You're not gonna get no blue from that. That blue coming from black on black. And then them genes trickle up and do some kind of funny stuff. You know what I'm saying? That's what we're gonna call it tonight. That's some funny stuff. Yes, sir, man. No, man. Hey, Mr. Allen TV. I'm gonna tell you what, Mr. Allen TV. I bred a game to my blue dog. I had a blue house pit named Mango. She was a blue dog. She was all blue, had no white on her. But she was a pit bull. She wasn't no bully. But I wasn't trying to press the issue. Like I know she wasn't no game dog and none of that type of stuff. But I could look at her body structure and see she was a pit bull. But anyway, she had no papers. But when she went in heat, I bred her with my Big John dog off of Johnny One Nut. And it was basically a Jeep Rascal dog. Red Boy Jocko Jeep Rascal. with a little bit of a spike of Jeep Rascal in it. And that's the, I don't think you caught that story when I gave that story, fam. Ugliest damn dogs I ever bred in my life. And that's off of my judgment from when it was born. If I know what I know now and I let them dogs grow up, I'm willing to bet they probably would have been some pretty dogs. When it was young, man, I thought, you know, my Johnny One Nut dog was a buckskin red nose. He was the game dog, buckskin red nose. The other dog was a dark blue, but she, you know, real blue, but she had no white in it. When I bred them, they came out like a seal color, like a real seal, like a brownish. Man, them things was ugly compared to, you know, I was used to them buckskin or red dogs or something like that, even black. But them things was ugly, man. I gave them out to different friends I had by the time they was old enough to eat and winged and all that. I didn't even keep them on the yard. You know what I'm saying? But that was the only time I ever did that, man. And like I said, them dogs probably, now that I know what I know, like how colors be changing and certain colors do look good on dogs. And I know they would have had a perfect structure. They would have looked good, nice jug head, because he had a nice head. And she was straight. So they would have looked good. It just, you know, it ain't turned out the way, and that's that young thinking, you know what I'm saying? It ain't turned out the way I thought it was. But like right now, if I would have did that right now, I would keep the puppies and wait to see how, you know, how they gonna look before I make that judgment. You know. Flip Wilson, what's going on? Now, Trevor Lay said them real blue dogs come from a line so far away from the red genes. Now, one thing about them genes, man, I ain't gonna beat around the bush. I'm just gonna keep it honest with you. I don't know. Them things do all kind of stuff, man. Them things do unexplainable things, man. So them things, dogs pop up colors from 40 years ago when it comes to them genes, and brothers willing to stand on it sometimes. You know, so them genes do funny stuff, dog. It just depends on how you breed your dog, and never know, man. But you are correct. You are correct when you say about the red dogs and stuff like that, and the blues. Yeah, when you start adding that red into your 4th generation pedigrees, you got to get away from them reds. You got to wash out your 4th generation of them red dogs and bring in them blacks. You know what I'm saying? Bring in them blacks, and then you're gonna start getting so many different shades of black. You know how even it's the same way in humans. Don't even go to Africa, because we know in Africa we have way more shades of black brothers than we have in America. But you know, every now and then, regular people have a person darker than average, or a person who's not the color of their ancestors as far as the actual skin tone. They might have had brown ancestors, but this one came out a little darker. And they had a dark one way back, but it just skipped all the ones until it got to this certain one. And them genes happen like that, man, when it's really your family genes, you know. If you really got genes, say coming down off of, I'm gonna give you a quick example. Say if we got the Sorrells dogs, the modern day Sorrell stuff, coming down looking like the Rottweiler color. Now, if you take one of them dogs and breed it to my Big John stuff, right? And then I never go back into that again. Now, I'm not a 30-year believer myself, but I believe in a good few years, few years not seeing something and then popping back up. But just say 15 years it pop back up while I'm breeding 2 red dogs or a brown dog, but not a Rottweiler color dog, and it pop up. It's in the background. So it's a reason for it. I can sleep good on that. You know what I'm saying? But if it's not, them genes is crazy, man. That's what I'm gonna say about that, man. Them genes crazy, and I ain't no scientist, I ain't no vet. I try to do a little bit of reading like the rest of y'all brothers out there, man. Now let's see what Brother Yellow One said. OG told me he got 2 blues from breeding 2 black Eli dogs together back in the 70s. Yes, sir, man. That's what the brother was saying on the video interview I did. But he wasn't in the 70s with him. He was more up to date, and he had the Boudreaux dogs. I want to say the dog was Ironhead. Not Ironhead, but Iron something that Mr. Boudreaux had that he said was the one that kind of was throwing off that blue every now and then. But yeah, man, them Eli dogs, when you concentrate that blood up and do them inbreedings and line breedings and inbreeding. Now, I'm going to use myself as an example. If I got the Big John stuff, and we know that stuff haven't been crossed out since the 90s, and it's straight Red Boy Jocko, straight one family of dogs. Now, if them was black dogs, all black from day one, I would have had a blue dog in it from 2024. Not saying I would have produced blues, but I'm saying from the 90s to 2024, if the Big John line was a black line from the start, all black dogs on both sides from the start, by 2024, somebody would have been produced blue dogs off that dog, at least one or two of them, because you line breeding too much black. Genetics is going to go crazy, man. But I don't see what would have made them cull them dogs back in the days. Because we haven't had one person that get up here and say from the 70s or the 60s or, that early 80s era that they was producing blue dogs and they wasn't game. I don't think they can prove me wrong. That's what we like to do these stories and this dog talk about. I don't think they can produce blues at will with the game dogs. I'm just convinced now that we hear the information, how these brothers giving it to them, it's popping up in these genes. You can't control it. Now that's something to think about, brothers. We see these brothers can't control the game dog blue gene. So remember, if you see a whole yard full of that stuff, it might be a different kind of blue that's up in there. Because them bully blues can be controlled. You can control them bully blues. If I take a bully blue and breed with mellow yellow, them dogs gonna come out either fawn color or something similar to that blue stuff. Them puppies out that got the blue gene in, they can produce blue dogs. The real blue. Now, when the whole yard start coming out like that and they controlling that thing, ask them a little bit about it. They might can explain it a little bit better than I can. But from what I'm seeing, the game dog blues, they coming out randomly. When they controlling that joint, they got that control, that remote control of them bullies that you done bred in them dogs. But it is what it is, man. Now, let's get into this Tennessee stuff real quick, man. You know what I'm saying? Let's get into this Tennessee stuff because I like to give it to you. How I give it to you. CNN satellites from outer space. Let's get into it.
Animal shelter recovering after an attack at an alleged dogfighting site in Crittenden County. 2 men were arrested at a home in Proctor, about 25 miles from Memphis. WRG's Mike Sirianni spoke with the shelter director and has details on her injury and the raid.
Actually, I came to work on Monday, and it's part of the job, and you just keep on rolling.
Carrie Facello, director of the West Memphis Animal Shelter, working but favoring her bandaged right leg. Facello was bitten about 14 times Sunday at this home in Proctor, Arkansas, where multiple agencies seized 35 dogs at a suspected dogfighting ring. One dog was found dead.
We were wrapping things up. We were down to about 3 or 4 more dogs that we needed to seize.
She says one dog was, in her words, very motivated by anything fabric.
In just the blink of an eye, he decided that my blue jeans were the toy he was going to play with. And so he did. He inflicted wounds on my right leg.
2 men, Benrick Cumming and Lee Reynolds, were arrested and charged with aggravated cruelty to animals, unlawful animal fighting, and unlawful dog attack. Investigators say the pair also face drug and weapons charges, including theft of a firearm. I'm not allowed to get video of the dogs that were seized here because they are part of an ongoing investigation. Carrie Fasello says aside from the one dog unfortunately found dead, the other dogs taken from here were in surprisingly good condition.
There were only a few that had superficial wounds that we could assess on site.
Half the seized dogs are being held in West Memphis, the other half at the Marion Animal Shelter.
It's a rough situation that's running as smoothly as we can expect it to.
For your news leader in Crittenden County, Mike Suriani, WREG News Channel 3.
Yes, sir, man. Yes, sir. Big salute and big shout out to everybody that's rocking with me tonight, man. I'm gonna be back on the roll in a minute. My brothers and my sisters, they be rocking with the Bay. I'm gonna be back on the roll in a second, man. Trying to get this thing together. Big shout out to everybody that been checking on me with the pups and stuff. They doing great. They'll be 3 weeks old Friday. Starting them on a puppy mush, so you know I give you videos on that. To everybody that been joining them, to the few people that I got that joined them, the memberships, stay in there, my brothers. I'm coming. I've got some exclusive videos I'm gonna be dropping on that side just for y'all, man. Trying to do it all, get it all done at one time, you know. Now, Bubba 101 say, tell these folk how hard it is to create a real bulldog, not just line up some papers. That shit ain't nothing but a pretty pedigree and a piece of shit, you know. And I can't do nothing but agree with you on that, big dog. You know, putting together two bulldogs, you know, you kind of want to have two bulldogs. Because I had a bulldog that I didn't know nothing about the line. She was a blackjack Jeep bitch, heavy bred blackjack Jeep. She was kind of, you know, she was cold or whatever, but I could have took them papers and I would have bred it with something that papers look good, and I say, oh, these gonna come out right. But like I say, when it comes to what I'm messing with, my stock, you know what I'm saying? I like to have confidence in it, and I can't have confidence in something that I'm just going by the papers. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I can't do nothing but really agree with you on that, Bubba 101. You gotta put two good dogs together. And the thing about it, that don't even work sometimes. Because more often than none, brothers have these great dogs that can't produce shit. You know, so a lot of times this is a hit and miss, like a brother say, you know, but a lot of times when you find them dogs who are the great producers, you just got to put them with the right females. And a lot of times we forget the females, how important them females is. You know, we just look at, oh, because it's a grand champion or it's a champion. You know, they're supposed to produce more champions. And like I said, more often than none, you see champions and grand champions that don't produce the dogs that one-timers produce. You know what I'm saying? Yes, big salute to you, Bruce Banner, man. Hey, we're going to get Charlotte up here on them videos and stuff as soon as I get back to rolling. You know, I had to get up here and rock with my brothers tonight, you know, and touch in with my sisters tonight and see what's going on with everybody, because I ain't been up here in a minute, especially on the live, you know. Yes, sir, man. Yeah. You can't put no papers. Papers don't make a bulldog. I tell brothers that all day long. Especially, man, I'm trying to go get a good hunting dog, right? I want to go hunting. Can papers put a good coon dog together? If papers can't put a good coon dog or a good deer dog together, how the hell can they put a good pit bull together? Dog is a dog. Papers don't put nothing together. All papers is solidifying and certifying that these dogs is these supposed to be what they say it is. And according to Pat Patrick and all the old schoolers and everybody, Pat Patrick, we all know it. It ain't nothing I'm putting on you. You can't go off that. All the papers is something to say, I got papers in my damn hand, and I hope they offer what they say it is. You know? So if you're going off of, I hope they what they say it is, and you breed these two dogs together, hoping that you get. Now, what do the papers say it is? Only time the papers can say it's something is when you see champions or grand champions. You know? Now, I mean, What would the papers have said Red Boy dogs was back in the days when Red Boy was living? He was only a one-time winner. What would the papers have said he was? How many brothers would have missed out on dogs off of Red Boy because his papers didn't say what the next dog papers said if they was living the way we living when it comes to these pedigrees? Now, just because we're doing the right things with these dogs don't mean you damn start breeding paper for paper. You still breed good dog to good dog. You know, I mean, papers are never going to perform no matter what activity you doing. I mean, it just is what it is, you know. Let me drop that link for anybody if anybody want to come up here and rock tonight, man. I meant to drop that link earlier. I don't know what I was thinking, yo. Let me drop that link for my brothers and sisters. I got you, Bubba. Give me a second. Bubba 101 say, how important is it if a dog is not acting like a bulldog? It just depends on when when do you want him to be acting like a bulldog, Bubba? You know, if you want him to be acting like a bulldog when he's 5 months, it's not important. Not to me, it's not. You know, it just depends on when you want him to be acting like one. If he's 3 years old and he still ain't acting like a bulldog, then you know your red flags start coming up a little bit before that. You know, your red flags will come up. But I've heard brothers say dogs that they felt like was worth it, they kept to 3 to 4, and they turned on a little later. But the only reason they can tell me what they want to tell me, but only reason a brother would keep a dog that wasn't acting like a bulldog at 3 or 4 is because he know how it's bred, and he know he want to keep that line or that particular dog just to give him that chance. You know, but it just most brothers, and I'm gonna say at least 60 to 70% of the people that's greenhorns, you want the dogs to start up or dogs become bulldogs too fast. You know what I'm saying? Hold up. Big salute to Hacksaw Kennel. Big salute to my brother Hacksaw Kennel, man. But brothers, you know, when it comes to acting like a bulldog, you know, it's just when you want it. You got to have time for that type of stuff, man. Because some of these lines, they do certain things, and when you leaving them on the chain, that's another thing. You know, leaving a dog on the chain is going to make him develop a little slower. When I say leaving them, I mean leaving them in the woods and never dealing with them. Yeah, you feed them. Yeah, you giving them water and taking care of them like that. I don't mean you neglect them on that. I just mean you got them on the chain and you don't really deal with them far as interaction with other things. You know, he may take a little longer to develop. Now, once you ruin one, I'm a firm believer of that. Once you teach one how to be a cur, then he always gonna remember that. So that's the thing when you don't want to go out there and ruin one. You know, you can't go out there and see him. He done did 3 bad things because you keep pushing him to go out here and do all this stuff, and then say, I'm trying to sit on him till you get 3. No, the brothers are telling you these stories about the dogs that they sat on till they was 3 and 4. They literally sat on these dogs. You can tell if a dog act like he want to be a bulldog without actually getting into any kind of situation. You know, so if he know he not turned on, he know acting like a bulldog. I mean, this is what it is, man. You gotta wait. You gotta wait when it comes to the temperament of certain things. You know, it comes to like protection work. I know I can't get a dog to bring that attitude out for protection work. And a pit bull, I mean, maybe a Malinois can do it, but a pit bull, I can't do it at 4 months, 5 months old, 6 months old. The pit bull develops slower as a breed, right? It matures slower than the Malinois will, right? All right. Now at 5 or 6 months old, I can teach his Malinois how to attack people, and he gonna bite you because his teeth gonna be big enough. But it's pit bull, the stuff that I gotta do to this Malinois, it'll freak the pit bull out at 4 or 5 months old because they slow maturing dogs compared to that breed of dog. All the hitting and slapping and all that stuff, that Malinois gonna take it and keep coming. It's gonna scare that pit bull and turn him to a shy dog. So it just depends on what you're trying to do with them, and understand that every dog gonna mature differently. You know, back in my days, them Eli and Chinaman dogs would, you know, a lot of times they would start up early. I've seen Red Boy Jocko dogs that were starting up from day one. I'm talking about real starting up. So every line do it. You know what I'm saying? It's just knowing what you want your dog for, knowing how important that dog is to you before you give up on him. You know what I'm saying? He may never be a bulldog. That's just a chance you taking, you know. You may be the brother that get up here and tell their story and say, man, I waited 4 years and the dog still never became a bulldog on me. Man, forget that. You know what I'm saying? I gave up. I sold it to my homeboy. But at the end of that story may be just like this. Man, I sold it to my homeboy, and man, you wouldn't believe. Man, 3 weeks after that dog out in his yard, that dog turned up and got loose on a chain accident and did 3 or 4 of them in. Things happen just like that. You know, just like that. Big salute to Live Your Life Dogs in the building. Yes, sir, man. Most of the time, it's brothers ruining dogs. Then we have brothers who say, oh, I had dogs who started 3 or 4 years. Most brothers will never even wait that long. You know what I'm saying? They done got rid of that dog and went and got a real cur. Got rid of the one that needed some time and went and got a real cur. They're going to go out there and bark and do all this other stuff real fast. But he ain't got no game. Now, that's what I want to talk about, too. Are we willing to sacrifice gameness for mouth back in the days? But just put yourself in our shoes to go back in the days to the 90s. Would you sacrifice gameness for mouth? You know this dog right here got a tremendous mouth, but when I say forget gameness, he don't last long. You know, we're gonna say it like that. He do not last long, but his mouth is tenacious. Would you sacrifice the gameness in your dog to bring that mouth in? You know, would you do it? You know, and like I said, we really don't. I mean, which dogs are passing down to their puppies the same exact mouth? That mouth popping up is about rare as them gray dogs popping up, but a little more often. That mouth pop up a little more often than the blue dogs. You know, but what I'm saying is we can breed a dog with a tenacious mouth, and he make dogs that are great dogs, but none of them are the shotgun dogs. You know what they call shotgun dogs that make you look like you got hit with a buckshot. You know, none of them are buckshot dogs. You know, they great dogs and they know they're making names, but none of them had the mouth that they daddy had. Like that mouth varies, man, from dog to dog, to person, you know, it's easy to concentrate on having you some good game dogs, you know, than having you some good mouth dogs. Good mouth dogs don't leave you nothing but empty pockets back in my days without that gameness there. You know. Oh, yeah. Now, by that mouth, one thing about the mouth, man, you know, everybody, you love to see that mouth, and you love to see one putting that work in with the mouth back in them days, you know, but it's no different than you running your mouth or me running my mouth. You know what I'm saying? Or me getting in there in that boxing ring and I can hit hard, but my chin glass. You know what I'm saying? My chin glass, and I can hit pretty hard. I got a Mike Tyson blow, but I got a chin like Glass Joe. You know, so what purpose is my knockout blows if I can't go the whole 12 rounds? You know, or if I can't go 6, if I'm for sure gonna get knocked out, if he can make a connection with me and knock me out in the first couple of rounds, any connection he make, what's the purpose of me having a hard blow? What's the purpose of having all that mouth if you ain't finishing it off? My whole thing, you know, back when I was about 19, 20, I wanted a dog that's gonna stay there. I'm already expecting him to get damaged. But what? Because you put more holes in him than the last dog did? Oh, he's a crazy mouth. I never left wondering about, oh, who mouth. He had more. If he lost, if the other dog lost, the hell what kind of mouth he had. He damn lost. He couldn't damn stay there. You know, it's all about staying there, being there, and going back then. And right now today, in his legal activities, in his legal world, in all this stuff, it's about being there, staying there, and keep going forward. You know what I'm saying? If you're going to being at them shows, staying at them shows, and performing the best you can perform, man. You know? And I promise y'all, brothers, and sisters, man, y'all gonna miss the day when you got brothers out here giving you the digital dog shows, brothers creating their dog shows in different states and different things. You know, you're gonna miss the day that this stuff was easy for you to get in and you didn't go join for free and you didn't participate in this when it was $5 and $10 and $15, $20 to the dog shows, $40. Once brothers get organized, I ain't talking about no particular brother that's out here doing their thing now. I'm just talking about in general. Once brothers get the understanding that it's money into that legal stuff, money into them dog shows, bring the same vibe, the same positive stuff, you know, and you're gonna make money. Once brothers realize that, it's gonna be too late for a lot of folk, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm kind of shocked that knowing this dog, I know the dog game. It ain't nothing going on for a brother with a pit bull in the dog game. I'm not talking about now. Before any of these brothers came out with anything, all you had was an ADBA dog show, maybe the ADB PR. All you had. Brothers take these things lightly. That brothers get up here and try to do the digital dog shows and all. Brothers take this stuff lightly, man. We have none of this stuff. Now imagine you don't got none of this stuff and the law still the same way. And you ain't got shit to do legal, but walk up and down the street with your dog. Then you take all that stuff that you got now that you don't participate in, that you want to sit back and knock the next brother about this or that. You take all that stuff for granted, but it's going to be a day, you know what I'm saying, that you wish you can join this show for $20 or $50 or, you know what I'm saying? Brothers has got to show more support, man. You know, that's the reason I say the stuff that I say sometimes throughout my videos when it comes to these old schoolers. You know, y'all only want it one way. And the ones who riding with the old schoolers, they only want to see it one way. But as long as you seeing it one way, like I always tell you, I'm going to have this dog news for you. Cop that merch. Still scratching, man. Still scratching. Holla at your boy. Holla at your boy, PBK9s, man. You know what I'm saying? It just is what it is. Don't even go on the website. You know what I'm saying? Holla at me directly. Yeah, we cutting the middleman off. You know, we cutting the middleman off, man. It is what it is. Let me see who I got rocking with me up here tonight.
Jay.
What's going on? What's going on with your brother?
What's going on, PBK?
Ain't too much. What you getting into for the night, man?
Not much. Heard you talking about them blue dogs. Thought I'd give my little input on it.
Yes, sir. What you got for us tonight? What you think about it when it comes to them blue dogs, man?
Well, so what I think, if you go back to whenever the dogs were being imported over here, it was the Staffy Bull Terrier. When they imported the Staffy Bull Terrier over here, like I said it during the first interview, I don't know if you remember, but there was a dog in there, Henry's Black Brindy, and it says, "My big black Staffy Bull Terrier." Well, whenever you go back to England, Ireland, anyone who has the Staffy Bull Terrier, when you're going back in there, there is no red nose in the Staffy Bull Terrier. And they're black-nosed dogs, so the recessive trait is blue. So because our dogs over here, the APBT was crossed and bred out of the box and stuff like that. Well, when you take those dogs further and further and further away from that red gene and it goes black, well, then eventually it gets so pure that basically you're breeding back into that Staffy Bull Terrier bloodline, like Henry's Black Brindy. And you can see a picture in there. That dog looks like it came off of Floyd Boudreaux's yard. Henry's Black Brindy does. And it was FG Henry's dog. It was Tudor called it his Henry family of dog. So in my opinion, when that black gene gets so tight, you're breeding in on that black gene, you're breeding in on the black gene, you're not crossing anything in there for an outcross or whatever, or you're not crossing that dog that comes out looking like Niggerino or Grand Champion Art, that buckskin black nosed dog, to mix up them genes, and it gets too tight. That's whenever you can get that recessive throwback gene and that blue skin. When they say, well, why aren't they breeding? Well, it's a bulldog just like any other bulldog. The thing is you get the genetic defects of the blue dog. It's a genetic defect. So you got skin conditions and stuff that come with it too. So when people say they culled away from that or they bred away from it, it's because not only it's not really if you're wanting healthy dogs and you're not breeding for color and stuff like that, it's in the best interest to breed away from or cross it when you get it. Whenever I crossed her to a dog that was solid red, didn't have a white mark on his whole body. And I got a whole litter of nothing but coal black dogs. They was as black as it gets. So I think that's what really happens is you're breeding away. You're breeding into the genes inside of the APBT because the Staffy Bull Terrier is in there. It just is, but it's been back years ago. So you're breeding in on that gene pool and you get closer and closer and further away. It goes recessive. That's whenever you're going to get your blue type dog. And it's a little bit different blue than what you get on these modern day dogs. They got a longer hair. They're, they look more like they're, a regular dog that's just blue. Where these dogs, super thin coat, they got a little bit different shade of tint to them, but it's definitely a gray blue dog. There's no doubt about it. And they look just like the rest. Like I said, it's just a color.
Yes, sir. Hey, I'm talking to my boy.
Yeah, this is Jay.
Okay, man. I know your name came up different than but I caught your voice from first when we started talking. I said, dang, that ain't the same tag you had on your name last time.
No.
But yeah, man, it's always gonna be a argument when it comes to them blues, but it's good to get insight on people who dealt with the stuff, who knows why it's coming out that way. And I can agree with you. It makes sense where a brother will say, okay, we called a blue dog because they had skin problems, because they was a little on the unhealthy side when it came to certain things, so that would make more sense as far as just saying culling the dogs for no particular reason or culling them because they blue, just coming out blue. But I guess, like you said, they have skin problems and people don't want to deal with that type of stuff. So if you get one of your litter, you want to get rid of it to keep all that stuff, keep all that stuff away from you.
Yeah, any other bad trait that comes along with dogs, you want to breed away from that, not breed to it. But if you wanted to, like I said in that first interview, if you wanted to breed, if your goal is to breed blue dogs and you just wanted to breed a yard full of them dogs, all you would have had to do is take that female, breed that female back to one of her sons, breed her to another Boudreaux dog back to one of her Boudreaux sons, and they were off the same daddy. More than likely, you would have got that. But I wasn't trying to implement that into my stuff. But she did have other attributes as far as like a super athletic dog. She was just like all the other dogs. She just had a skin defect. So I crossed the dog. You know what I mean? And she threw some good dogs. I mean, she was just like any other bulldog. It was just color, and there wasn't nothing impure about her. And I think the big problem with blue dogs is because whoever bred blue dogs back in the day, wherever it started, some people say they put those, what do they call those, Nepals or whatever them dogs were called, they crossed that in there. But all it is, if you look up, if you go to today's standard, and it's never changed, the English Staffy Bull, if you go to the English Staffy Bull Terrier, which is they have it in England, they have it in Ireland, and then there's an AKC version too. It's more of the watered down stuff like that. It might have more American staff, people cross stuff like that. But if you go over into that other country where those dogs are imported from, the dogs are primarily either black, white, and they've got black noses. And whenever you do a lot of inbreeding and you get them super tight, you can get a blue nose. I think it was the first Irish Staffy Bull Grand Champion 9-time winner, off the chain 1-time winner, was a Grand Champion Psycho. And Psycho, if you look at him, he's a white dog, and he almost looks, if you look at that nose, it almost looks like it's got a blue tint to it. Like he might have had a blue tint to that, you know. And he was stopped by Champion Storm. You know, he was stopped by Champion Storm, and then an APBT came along, stopped Champion Storm, and then they put that dog, the ASPA put that dog down, and that was years ago. But you can look up, you can read about Grand Champion, or you can read about 9-time winner, 1-time loser, Psycho, and you can read about Storm and all that. And they were crossing Staffy Bull Terriers to working Bull Terriers back then, and matching them over there and stuff like that. So these dogs were all imported over here, and then they were made in America. You know, they were outlawed there first for bull baiting. They was outlawed there first for dog fighting and everything. So they came over here. They crossed the oceans, and just like everybody else who came over here that wasn't native, and somehow, some way, they made their way over here, and then they were bred here, and the standard was formed here for the APBT, and the UKC got in there, and they made their standard, but then they started letting the AKC register their dogs in there, and so their standard went more and more away from it, but the ADBA kept theirs pure, and so that's why you don't see as many of them blue dogs, because they wasn't really breeding for that. They were crossing them, and you have to breed in on them genes super tight and be with a pure family of dogs anyway to begin with, to even get a dog like that, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So that's why they're not just falling off the turnip truck. You know what I mean? You'd see them everywhere if they was.
Yeah. You think people will get a hard time if they produce some blues modern day time off their Boudreaux or pure, like heavy bred, pure Eli stuff, when they go into the shows with it and it's looking like a silver game dog? You think they'll get any kind of raise the eyebrows?
Oh yeah, 100%, because nobody else has dogs like that, so they don't understand them.
Yeah.
They had dogs like that, bred pure like that for, 100 years. I mean, let's see, Boudreaux, he's about 90. I think he's in his mid 90s, and then his dad was a dog guy, and so all them dogs were bred for it's been hundreds of years, and that line's been bred. It got the longer that they bred it, the more black it became. It just is. And another interesting thing to think about would be, like you said, why don't you see these other lines just throwing blue dogs? Well, because they're not going to just throw blue dogs, because their genes are more scattered out. They have diversity, where these dogs are very concentrated in on that old Henry family of dogs. And when you see a black dog, whether it's bred tight or not, that gene came from that back in the day. And everything that's inside of your dog, you've got a genotype and a phenotype. Your genotype is what's inside the dog that you don't see on the outside. It's kind of like looking at a pond. If you go out and look at a pond, you don't know how many fish are inside it or how big the fish are until you start fishing and catching them. So you can't see what's underneath. But whenever you start pulling them out of the water, then you know what's down there. And so when you know what I'm saying? So what you see on the outside ain't always what's 100% on the inside. And I don't think you're going to take one of them Boudreaux dogs like that are bred real tight and just cross them into, a scatterbred dog, or maybe a dog from a different line like Bolio, or yellow or something like that, and start throwing blue dogs. It's not going to happen, because what happened was you broke it, you gave it diversity. And when you did that, it bred away from it. And it's like you said, you have to do it so tight, and you can't have any diversity in there for that to happen. It has to get really tight for that to happen in the APBT today.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, you don't really see too many of them, and a lot of brothers be kind of scared to bring they blue dogs out when they do produce them because of what people are gonna say about it, and scared of that they gotta keep up with the Joneses, as they say. You know what I'm saying? And the Joneses say the blue dogs don't exist, but the dog men say otherwise. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I think it was one of Richard Stratton's books. I can't remember if it was the first one or the second one, but one of them in there talks about Howard Heinzel. It's Howard Heinzel. He's basically, he witnessed them. He said, Howard Heinzel witnessed a family of dogs like that from back in them days. I guess maybe somebody, now this has been a long time ago, Howard's been dead since what, the 80s or something like that. So this would have been a long, long time ago. But back in those days, the going like Barney dogs and stuff like that, they talk about blue dogs being back in there. Those type of blue dogs, we're not talking about the modern day blue dogs. These are real pit bulls. They just had a blue color. And Heinzel himself, which we all know, Heinzel had Arizona. Was it Arizona Pete, which is littermate brother to Daibo. Daibo came off of Heinzel's dogs.
You asked me, or you was making a statement? I ain't sure who the Arizona Pete dog is coming off of. I heard but I'm not sure exactly. You there, bro? We can't hear you right now, brother. But until you come back, I'm gonna answer this question for G Test. G Test asked me, mouth or game? All my dogs have mouth or game. Hey, I'm gonna tell you like this, man. I just said, I think mouth is something you can't control. Gameness is something that you can control. You know what I'm saying? I don't think you can say, oh, if you got a dog with tenacious mouth, you don't know which one of them puppies off that litter gonna have that mouth. If any of them dogs off that litter gonna have the mouth that he had, But if they game dogs that you bred, consistently game dogs, pretty much they're gonna come out game. But mouth, why trap the mouth gene if you can't trap both of them? You know what I'm saying? And like I said, most of the time, man, mouth is different for everybody. Everybody got a different explanation of what they consider a 10 mouth. You might consider a 10, well, another brother, you might consider his 10 a 3. Man, that ain't no 10. So gameness is at the end of the day, gameness was what had you moving on to the next competition or whatever. Your gameness did. And mouth would too. You came back yet, Trevor? We couldn't hear you. We couldn't hear you for a little minute, man. So I just started talking for a few seconds.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Okay, so Arizona Pete was Heinzel's Arizona Pete. That's a litter mate to Tudor's Daibo. All right. So what I was saying, and Daibo came from Heinzel's yard. Tudor got the dog from Daibo. It's all written and documented. But anyway, Heinzel said back in his days that he crossed up with he ran into some blue dogs, and they were as game as any dogs that were ever bred. But them dogs back in them days were bred, everything was bred for game if it was back then, because it was, it was the beginning. That's whenever the APBT was forming. You know what I mean? So people weren't breeding for color and big heads and wide chests and short legs and freaks and all that stuff that they breed for today. They were just breeding bulldogs, and those bull terrier genes were coming out.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it just is what it is. And if they don't understand it, it's because they ain't never had it.
Now that's the main thing about it. A lot of people don't understand what they ain't never had.
That's just what it is.
A lot of people ain't.
You know, if you don't believe in Bigfoot, but then you all of a sudden you seen Bigfoot, you might. But I don't believe in Bigfoot, and I never will until I see him.
Yeah, yeah.
That's my thing. I don't believe in Bigfoot, but you know, let me cross paths with Bigfoot, and I'll believe it. So I don't judge those people that haven't seen it or experienced it, because it's just like me experiencing Bigfoot to them. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. And yeah, a G test. I was saying, I understood exactly what you asked me, but what I was telling you is I can't answer the question you asked me, because in order to answer that question, I got to be admitting to you that I fight my dogs. Yeah. So I know I don't fight my dogs, so I don't know what's what. You know what I'm saying? You know, I just get up here and give these dog stories and try to produce good dogs off of my dogs, not going off my papers and stuff. You know what I'm saying? But as far as the question we asked, and not saying that you trying to be funny or nothing like that, you know, I'm just saying I can't. That's a question I can't answer unless I'm you know what I'm saying? I don't know. You know what I'm saying? I don't know, dog. You know.
Everybody asking trap questions.
Oh yeah, man. When I say about mouth, I'm talking about in my days when I was breeding. Back in my days when I was breeding, I wasn't breeding for mouth. That's what I was saying. I'm saying I'm breeding for Gameness. I don't care about how bad he look if he ain't finish off the show. You know, I don't care because I took a couple wounds. Your dog had mouth, but he ain't finished, my dog. What I'm gonna do? Go breed with some of your stock because he had a mouth? You know, the best dog was the Gameness dog. That's the dog I was looking for. That mouth is modern day dog talk. You know what I'm saying? Everybody want a good mouth on their dog. You know, and everybody, if you got a good dog that's a good producer, he gonna produce more dogs like him if he a good producer. So you know that mouth modern day stuff, it ain't, I don't know, man. It's just different. Back in my days, we was looking for game dogs. It was like all about having one that'll stay down. If he could do it in 5 or 10 and 15 minutes, that's cool. But just like Bigfoot, a lot of us don't. We talk about that stuff, but we don't never see it. 5 minutes, unless the other dog was just straight out piece of shit.
Yeah, and that mouth is supposed to be a cherry on top. You know, the main thing is in them days you were just breeding for game, because if that other dog had any talent or was really good and could outlast that mouth, you know, and that other dog got tired or whatever, then it's a wrap.
So let me ask you something, G-Test. Should I breed game dogs or thunderstorm dogs? You know, we call it thunderstorm, weather the storm, my brother. You know, that mouth is just a storm, man. We weather that stuff. When you're a game dog, you go through that little bit of 5-15 minute worth of mouth and all that type of stuff, and it's a wrap. So all that mouth gonna get you. After a certain period of time back then, after a certain period of time, all that mouth was gone. What could you rely on if all the mouth is now is regular? You know, and if you got a dog that's smart to keep all that mouth away from him, and all you relying on is mouth, and this dog game and smart, you know, how can you what can you do with it? So at the end of the day, to me, everybody different, man. Everybody got their own, own route. They like to go with it back then. But when I was doing it, I wanted one that at the end of the day, I could say, I won this. You know what I'm saying? Very seldom you see one that go an hour, 2 hours and a half, and he's still doing the same thing he was doing in 5 minutes at the 5 minute part. You know, back then, and you know, you just had to have something that was true to the thing. You know, and like I said, I can't answer that when it comes to my dogs because, I mean, I don't do the same thing I was doing back then. Now, you want to ask me my dogs work? They work. Any kind of work I need them to do legally, they do it. You know what I'm saying? I mean, other than that, I mean, you know how it go, man. I don't know, bro. I mean, you got G-Test. You got to have common sense, my brother, and ask yourself, do me telling you my dogs got mouth only say one thing? Why would you want me to act? Same thing I told a brother that called me the other day about Royal Bull. Why would you want me to get up here on national TV and say my dogs got mouth? Mouth to do what? You know? Mouth to do what? Huh?
Maybe if you wanted to do, if the ADBA or one of these organizations would come out with a hanging contest, maybe you could let them hang for 3 or 4 hours.
I said that one time before. They got a machine that you can buy on eBay or Amazon that'll test the dog jaw power, just like they do the sharks and all that type of stuff. You got, it's not specifically for dogs, but it's for testing jaw power on animals. That's how they can tell the lions, the tigers, and all their jaw pressure. You can get that started into these shows and all that stuff. The pressure of these dogs, who got the hardest bite power. You know, we can get, that's what I'm saying, man. Brothers got to use their head to come together to bring all this stuff into the legal part of the game, man.
You know what would be cool if you came up with the, yeah.
Go ahead, brother.
I was going to say, you know what would be cool if one of these inventors or somebody who wants to come up with this contraption would come up with one that would measure the bite, like what you're saying, where the dog can jump up, he has to be hanging off the ground. And now how long can he hold his bite? And how powerful is that bite the whole time he's hanging before it starts to go away? And then you could really measure how long that dog could hold that bite like that.
Yep. And I mean, it could be something as simple as somebody getting up doing videos and showing brothers and sisters how it works. And then once they see it and they understand it, I don't see why they wouldn't implicate it into the shows. You know what I'm saying? Because it's showing you how much mouth and who got the hardest mouth and who got the hardest bite. You know, and the brother say I'm making statements about other people's dogs. Now, what I challenge you to do G-test, what I challenge you to do, I bet you $100 you can't get up here, hit that link, get up here and tell me one person dog that I say don't got mouth in modern day time. I'll give you $100 right now to your cash app. If you could tell me one person dog that I say don't got mouth in modern day time. I dropped the link right here in the cash app. Hold up. I mean, drop the link right here in the chat real quick. I don't talk about who got mouth in modern day time, big dog. And I challenge you to tell me who I say dog don't got mouth. $100 you can get right now, big dog. And drop your cash app in the chat. You know, we walking like we talking, big homie. You know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna block them, James. I'm gonna do more. I'm gonna hurt them more by letting them stay here and listen to the dog talk tonight, man. I tell you, it's been too long since I've been up here talking, man. You've been listening, getting that garbage over the past few weeks, in the past couple of days, man. The dog man back, dog. You know, you don't get down in the chat and talk that talk, and we want to talk it, and you won't get up here and talk it for $100. Come on now. You down in the chat typing for free. I'm trying to help you get 100. I'm trying to put 100 in the pocket, show you how to make some money, fam. You know, I'm gonna do something for you. You going to listen to these channels, they ain't doing shit for you but get you locked up and give you a bunch of dumb knowledge to come over in my channel and we pick it apart. You know what I'm saying? Put up or shut up, like Bruce Banner say, man. Me and the brother Trevor over here talking about some real dog stuff over here, man. While we got a 15-year-old down in the chat. He tells you 15-year-old until you get up here and talk your dog talk. Does you 15, pal? But anyway, man, yeah, man. I was thinking about that a while back, bro, about the bite machine and getting the jaw pressure, because I done looked it up and they got them on Amazon. It's like a PSI reader type thing. And you know, getting the dog to bite it on his hardest bite on the first time may be the object. You probably want to train your dog to get his best grips when he can get his first grip, his best grip or something. But you know, it would be a good activity to add in there, man. And brothers can see what kind of mouth their dogs got. You know what I'm saying?
If they could come up with a show where, like, maybe let's say you start out on a treadmill, and then, or maybe you start off with something like a warm up. Start off with a wall climb, then take your dog, put it on a.
You went out on me, Trevor. Okay, I can hear you now. Say something.
Okay. So maybe if you really wanted to create a modern day dog show for the modern day dogs, so we can move forward in this with the modern day rules that we have, maybe what you do is you start your dog out on a wall climb, and then from the wall climb, the dog goes to a treadmill to work that treadmill. And then when he gets nice and exhausted, then put him on that bite machine. That way he's at least tired when he's hitting that, not just fresh hitting it, because some of them dogs.
You went out on us again, Trevor. Okay, you back now.
Can you hear me?
Yep. I heard when you saying take them on what you said?
I said, was you able to hear any of that I said?
Oh yeah, I heard you say put them on the different activities and then take them to the bike machine last.
Get them worn out and then put them on the bike machine and see how much jaw pressure they got once they're good and tired.
Mm-hmm.
What they got in the tank. Maybe that'd be a way to really test them without having to test them in the old ways and stuff like that.
Yep. Yes, sir, man.
I always like watching them hang. Watching a dog hang, like get you a good spring pole out there and just let them hang off of it until they finally let go or sometimes you might have to get a breaking stick. You might be sick of sitting out there,
Yep. I've been loving to look at my homeboy dog because he got his dog fit in his shape. I love to look at him when he's stretched out like that, hanging from a spring pole or something, because the body looks so good, man.
The dogs
looks so good.
The ones that like that really love it. They love hanging.
Mm-hmm.
They get so excited when you take a dog off and he off his spot or his kennel or his chain or whatever, and he knows you're going over there to let him hang off that rope or the spring.
Went out on me again, bro. Okay, you back.
I said them dogs, they love hanging off of a spring pole. You know what I mean? Like if they like it, if they're into that, I think they love that more than anything, hanging off that thing,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
They really do.
Now we got a brother down here, brother Trevor, that he mad because I said I can't explain nothing about my dogs having mouth. See, he mad because he want me to have less than common sense. And now how can you get mad because you want me to explain something about mouth? You know what I'm saying? I don't know nothing about that, dog. You know what I'm saying? Hey, you gonna unsubscribe my channel? That's the thing for you to do. Because I can't give you that explanation that you want, dog. It ain't nothing for me to disrespect you about or call you names and nothing like that. If you can't understand that, then I don't know why you're trying to put pressure on me to tell you something that I'm telling you that I don't know nothing about.
Can I tell you something?
You know what I'm saying?
It's low. A big problem we have in with these dogs and these pit bulls is low IQ. People just don't have sense. You got some guys that just they don't think. This is 2024. You can't be out there putting yourself saying stuff like that.
Yeah.
Them days.
Mm-hmm. You're right about that. Now, let me ask you about that Boudreaux stuff, man, since you got a lot of experience with it. Now, what be the best crosses that you've seen with the Boudreaux stuff? When you're talking about a pure Boudreaux line of dogs, family line bred dogs, and you want to take it out to something else. Matter of fact, let me ask you this first. What are the Boudreaux dogs known for as far as back in the days? I'm not familiar with what they was known for back in the days, as far as being smart, game, mouth. I think from what I'm seeing, they look like they had pretty good structure.
Yeah, they were really well put together, tall, lean, athletic dogs. They're mainly known they were mainly known for their, you can just read about Bullison because they call them Eli dogs, but really these dogs are Bullison dogs. You can go to their pedigrees and look at them, and they're Bullison dogs. Eli's gets a lot of credit for the dogs, but really they're Bullison dogs. But they were known for mouth, and Bullison quit. Some of them dogs quit, but you had to make it through that mouth. But that's what they was really known for, was their power and stuff like that. And that's why a lot of those people would breed that into their lines and stuff. But just because you have an Eli dog don't mean it's necessarily going to have this insane, alligator mouth that's just going to break through everything. It's just like you're just breeding dogs, man. It's just like anything else. Some of them are going to be better out of litter than others.
Yeah. So let me ask you this real quick. Because you were saying about the bully son. So what's Honey Bunch off of? The bully son stuff, right?
Yeah.
Or she don't got no bully son in, or she's coming out on the bully son stuff, right?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Boyson's behind her too.
Now, if that's the case, wouldn't that probably kind of put Jeep and And Eli kind of, even though it's bred differently, they still got the same background in them.
Jeep wasn't, Jeep was some people would call it a scatterbred dog. You know what I mean? Because he wasn't just pure on one family. He had Kobe behind him. He had the Daibo blood behind him. He had I think it might have even had some E. Crenshaw in there. I'm not totally for sure, but I know it wasn't just pure, it wasn't just pure, but they bred that dog to so many different families of dogs, and he did produce to some of them way better than others,
Yeah.
Bred the balls off that dog.
Now, would you consider the Boudreaux Eli stuff some of the best Eli dogs out there?
I mean, it's hard to say because I haven't had every family of Eli dogs. You know what I mean? I've had some dogs that were crossed with different strains of Eli and stuff like that, but that's the purest family I ever owned. Yeah. I would say yes, because who has more experience with them dogs than Mr. Boudreaux? You know what I mean? Yeah. Just based on experience and his line. When you look at his dogs, I can look at a dog and say that's a Boudreaux dog. Yeah. You know what I mean? I can't look at all Eli dogs and just say that's an Eli dog. I've seen other lines of dogs look like they could just pass for have some Garner in it or something like that. But when I look at a Boudreaux bred dog, I can look at it. If it's a real one, I can look at it and say that's a Boudreaux dog.
Yeah.
The
few I've seen, I agree with you on that, because the few I've seen, I say I can see it in them.
Yeah, and they're athletic dogs too. But they've got their every pure family of dog, or what you would in your modern day pure families. I think you probably got Eli, or Bully Son, whatever you want to call it. Boudreaux, I just say Boudreaux dogs. His dogs are bred as close to pure as you could probably get, and Red Boy dogs are bred as close to pure as you could probably get. And then you got dogs like Red Boy Jocko Cross that have been bred for so long. You could say that's its own, like a cross of two families that pured over years because they bred them so long. And then you got Bolio Tombstone that go together, kind of like.
Oh, you went out on us, bro, at the wrong time. You was giving that story. You went out on us.
I'm back.
Okay, you back now.
My phone keeps going black and going out. But you've got so many. What I'm trying to say is you got so many families modern day that are kept pure. Yeah. You've got your what people call Eli dogs. I'll just call them Boudreaux dogs. Not that the other Eli families aren't pure, but a lot of them have like Stu Power or E. Crenshaw or different little outs in there. Whereas Boudreaux's might have that, but it's so far back. He's bred his line to purity, I believe. And then you've got your Red Boy dogs. Those are obviously been kept pure off that family because generation after generation. You got your Kobe dogs. You got your Red Boy and Jocko dogs was across the two families that they've bred them so long. You could say they're pure. They got their own look, different ones. And there's a couple different families of that. But I think you got that stuff, that yellow stuff bred about as tight as I've seen off those ones that you were breeding.
Yeah. Now let me ask you this: if say you got a line of Boudreaux dogs, right, and I take it into the line I got the Red Boy Jocko. Okay. Now everybody answer to this is going to be a little bit different, and I don't feel like nobody's really wrong. But what's your opinion on making it go back? Okay, say I breed the 50%, the pure Boudreaux dog to the pure Big John dog. Now I got a 50-50. And we got some red dogs in that, right? But I went back to the Boudreaux side, but I bred them to the red dogs. And then now I'm getting more red dogs than I'm getting the black. But, and say I do that same culling process to where I'm selling the black dogs and I'm keeping the red ones. So now, how you feel when I step to you in your yard and I'm like, how long do it take for me to actually purify that line back up? Is what I'm saying. How many breeders does it take to go back into that Boudreaux, even though I'm red? Can I call these dogs pure Boudreaux dogs after going back in so many times?
Okay, so I'm going to answer your question, but here's the flaw in it. So that gene is so dominant on those black dogs, and I crossed it with scatterbred dogs. I crossed it with just, you know, straight up La Posse dogs. Everything I crossed it with, I never got nothing but black dogs.
That should take over.
It takes over. It'll take over. Now I seen it crossed into a pure red boy dog and got a nice, beautiful chocolate dog that had the body of the it looked like a Boudreaux dog, but it was real pretty chocolate. And I think it was a he was really a nice looking dog. So yeah, you could do it. I mean, you could definitely do it. You might not get a red dog right off the bat. It might take you a couple breedings to get away from it, or you might get lucky. Who knows? You know, it's them genes jumbling around there, but you could definitely do it.
Yeah. And then when you taking her back to the black Boudreaux dog, that's gonna make the black even more stronger than the red dog. So it's gonna be even more chances that she probably have all black puppies. All black puppies might have, like you said, might have one puppy off a litter.
Yeah,
one puppy off of it here and there.
If you breed to one of them type bred black dogs like that, like what I had, you'll be lucky. I mean, you'd be pretty lucky just to get a dog that wasn't black, I think. You know, if you're breeding dogs, most of the time, whenever you get something different, it's not a blue dog. Usually you get a buckskin black-nosed dog. It'll have black toenails. It'll have a black ticking down the back, like its tail will go black at the tip. You know, I had one like that. She was real nice. But that's what they use to diverse it. Whenever you get those dogs, if you're breeding that line tight and trying to keep it pure, I think you should try to keep those the ones with they're colored like Jeep and or not Jeep, but Niggerino and Grand Champion Art. Those ones that have that color like that, I think you keep those to breed into your black dogs so that it don't get too tight to where you throw that genetic default blue dog with them skin problems.
Yeah. One thing I will say, at least on my side of town, because I can't speak for everywhere in the country, but on my side of town, in the I'm gonna say early 90s to mid 90s, you've seen a lot of dogs with skin problems, with mange and stuff like that you don't really see so much of it these days as you seen back then. You know, you still get your red mange and stuff like that, but back then you seen, I don't know if it was the stray problem that every city had, more strays running around or what, but you see more dogs with the mange, you know, than you see right now today's time.
In my opinion, your dog food and stuff is so much more advanced than it was back in those days. And I think the dog foods help that out a lot because the dogs have stronger immunity and stuff from the stuff that's in the dog food. I think that may be a contributing factor.
Oh yeah, that's definitely possible. Yes, sir. Bruce Banner. Bruce Banner said he's seen a buckskin. That's the color they come out. That walk stuff they come out. Buckskin black mass, brown black mass, which is like the Mayday color. Red nose, which would be like the Saber 2000 color. Mellow yellow them color, and they come out like the orange color. You know, and you know, I was talking a couple videos back about trying to get some of the throwback colors, which would be like the brindle cream, the brindle light color red nose that I was talking about, almost white, you know, but you can still see the light color in them, but it got stripes, dark stripes in them. You know, one of the colors that I don't really see in nobody Big John dog no more. And I stopped seeing them colors a long time ago. Hey, Bubba say bootleg. Hey, it might be Bubba. I don't know, dog. Hey, one thing about it, all we can do, man, is go by the dogs we got in our yard, be happy with them. The papers, it is what it is, you know what I'm saying? Like I always say about the thug and the Thor stuff, man. Whether it's bootleg or it's not, the bootleg is just my damn joke about it. You know what I'm saying? But as far as them being off who they say it is, it don't make no difference at this point because the dogs done produce great dogs already. Thug and Thor them done produce great dogs. So if they offer damn dog pound dogs or dogs who was running straight in the streets, it don't matter at this point. It don't matter at this point that Red Boy don't got papers or didn't have papers or they didn't know what Red Boy was off. None of that stuff mattered at this point because the dog production level, you know, was enough to solidify things. I can say red thug them off the fake Red Devil 100, 1,000 times, but they still producing great dogs. You know what I'm saying? And I can't prove it 100% that he not off of this or he not off of that. You know, we just trying to talk dog talk, and you try to make it interesting in certain aspects when keeping it real at the same time. You know what I'm saying? Shit just get bored sometimes talking the same old. So you have to try to do some digging. The same way brothers like to dig about that Mayday stuff, saying it's hound dogs. You know, I dig in it with you sometime, but in my heart, I feel like it's a true American pit bull terrier. But I'm just like the rest of y'all brothers. I want to know how they came out shaped like this. You know what I'm saying? You know, hey, but it is what it is, man. Shit. One thing about it though, bro, you don't really see no brothers producing no grades because they'll put them on the Facebook right now if they produce them. If they got a modern day time, everybody who I see produce a grade modern day time, it ain't gray, they black, funny color black. That dog that you showed us was blue, and you know, I have yet to see a brother in 2024 get up here and show us a blue game dog coming down off of the pedigrees like you showed us. You know what I'm saying?
I'll tell you, the people that have those, if it does come out, I don't think they're really trying to put it out there to show you, because they already know. They know what those dogs are, and they know whenever they get it or it shows its face, they're not really trying to put it out there because they don't want people that don't know anything about it to judge their whole line off of it or think they're crossing some Staffordshires or some type of a bully in there or something like that for color, you know. So they're not probably putting that out there, especially if they're ever want to sell a dog.
Yeah.
So
you're right about that.
But back in the day, you were talking about Red Boy, and you know, people don't really know how that dog was back in the day. Just, you know, you go back to in the late 90s or even early 2000s, and you could go to the dog pound and find better dogs than what you could get, you know, going by some of these people's yards these days.
Yep, you're right about that.
Dogs running the streets were bred better than a lot of these dogs because, you know, it was back then, it was a lot more, it was before the bully came.
Mm-hmm.
Once that bully came, you've seen a lot of those breeders that had dogs and stuff, their yards went away and they went to the bullies for money. They were never in it for the dogs. They were in it just for strictly money.
Yeah.
So it helped it and it hurt it at the same time. But I did like whenever the ADBA separated that, you know.
Mm-hmm. Now, when it comes to that Boudreaux stuff, because like I said, you got some experience with it. Which dogs would you rather have in your pedigree when it comes to some of his originals?
Man, I would just say I like the stuff that I had. So if I was going to go to it, I'd just go with what I know. You know, I'd probably get some stuff down from Boudreaux Zyke right there. My buddy dog, I wish I still had him. You know, if I still had him, I'd be super happy. But you know, he's gone, and it just is what it is.
Yeah.
But I liked those dogs though. They're good dogs, but if they're also the type of dogs that you want to spend a lot of time with, or they'll be more trouble than what they're worth.
The Boudreaux dogs?
Yeah, they require a lot of attention, or whatever. They're really high strung. The ones I had anyway, they were about as well bred as they could get. They were really, really, really high strung dogs. They could be hard keepers, but if you spent time with them and you really, like my buddy dog, he had a lot more time spent with him, and I put it all into him, and he was just a member of the family. You know, he stayed in the house with me, and he was cool.
Now, the Brother King. Oh, go ahead.
I had another one too. The one that was colored like Grand Champion Art and Niggerino, and she was cool too. She would go in car. She liked to ride in the car. She would go on car rides with me.
Now, Brother King Lone Swipe said Chico never seen a real deal blue American Pitbull Terrier game dog in his life. Now, what I will say is that Chico get up there on his videos and he say black pit bulls aren't real pit bulls, but the boys showed me a picture the other day where the brother Tom Garner is handing him a black Pitbull puppy way back in the days. You know, so a lot of stuff that brothers say be sales pitches when it come to this ain't real or that ain't real. You could think I'm doing it for a sales pitch or whatever, but at the end of the day, you know, it just is what it is, man. Enjoy the dog you got in front of you. You know, the brother Ronnie Coleman say he think Mayday's offspring resembles Dolly, which would be the bottom half of the dogs.
Well, you know, all them dogs are all they all go back to the same families of dogs. So you can have a dog, you can have a dog that you can have two dogs that have the same phenotype and produce a dog, you know, that are tall, show quality dogs, and produce a short-legged gene and have a short-legged dog, because all them dogs from the past are in that pedigree, and when them genes are jumbling, you never know what's going to come out, you know.
Yeah.
Now, but especially if you got some scatter breeding going on in there, you know, you can get anything.
Yep. Now, when it comes to since you was talking about the short legs, do you know anything about them shorty cowboy dogs when it comes to breeding, and did he pass them traits down to a lot of his dogs, them same type of legs that he have?
Well, shorty cowboy, if you can just go to his pedigree and look at his offspring and stuff, and you'll see that there was dogs that came off that had that look. But
yeah, I see. I was looking at his legs. I wasn't really familiar with his blood as far as how it was, but I always heard of it, you know, since back in the days. But more modern day time, I hear brothers speaking about his legs and stuff, and I've been paying attention and looking at him because I never really paid attention to that stuff.
Yeah,
and, I see he do have a funny disposition by himself.
Yeah, I've had dogs that have the short leg gene and stuff like in them that are short legged, just like Shorty Cowboy. But I mean, it's in your dogs. Especially if you go to inbreeding, the tighter your inbreeding gets and line breeding on a certain, you can do it on scatterbred dogs. You can inbreed and line breed on scatterbred families of dogs. Then you can take a dog that's pure and cross them into it, and it just brings the blood together. But you can get those short leg genes, long leg genes. You need a scatterbred dog, because a scatterbred dog, a dog that has all those families in it, when you breed it together, you can get a little bit of both, you know. But usually, like if you've got a tight bred family of dog with a certain phenotype and you're just breeding that family, like it'd be hard to get one of them Boudreaux dogs with the short leg gene, because he's bred away from that for a long time, you know.
Yeah. Now, one brother said, Vernon Starr said, breeders using the dogs with the red mange. And I see that, you know, I've seen that, you know, several times too. You know, they cleared up, but the dog still got that gene in them. And they go to breeding them, and the puppies come out. I had a little off Sambo like that, off from a dual female. It went from both, from the female. And the puppies start getting that red mange at about 3 months old, 3 or 4 months old. You know what I'm saying? I tell you, I had named mine Mangbo, like mange. I called him Mangbo. He had mange by the time he was 4 months old. Face all bumpy up, back all half red and all kind of stuff. And that came from that female, because I never had a puppy like that until I bred to that one female. But and it just depends on how aware that brothers are that dealing with these dogs. Like brothers say, the IQ in these pit bulls aren't high, and then brother gonna look over that. If they get it cleared up, they gonna say, "Oh, I got it fixed," you know. But you didn't get rid of the problem inside, because it's a problem that she got. It's a problem that she gonna carry till she die.
Yeah,
you know. So when you breed that, you're gonna sell puppies, and it might not even pop up in the puppies right then, but then it'll pop up in the dog 7, 8 a year later. Now your dog's skin all messed up. You know what I'm saying? And you can't figure out why. It ain't hot spots. It ain't the hair, none of the other stuff. Nah, you got red mange. And then you got to go get that treated. And then no telling if they gonna get rid of the dog, because they like the dog now. So they gonna keep it, and they gonna keep it and pass it on down to the next person dog.
Yeah, I had a friend who had one. He had a litter of pups, and only one of them it was in the line, that was in the line. But one of the pups came out and was really, really bad. And she was a young pup. And we used Happy Jack, started giving her, treating her with Happy Jack. And it went away. And she never had a mange problem again. And she wound up being a real beautiful black-nosed buckskin dog. And he never had any more problems out of it for the rest of her life. But it is genetic. It's usually in red dogs. You see it more in really tight-bred red dogs, is what I've seen.
Yeah. That's what I've seen it in too, the red dogs.
His skin get real thick,
I have seen it in the black dogs, certain black dogs, but
I seen one years ago. This has been probably at least 25 years ago. I went out to an old man's yard, and he had a dog in a kennel, and his skin was so thick from mange that he didn't even hardly have no hair on him. And I remember he said, stick that rope in there and see if you can pull it out. And we stuck a rope in there, and that sucker locked onto it and was pulling backwards. And he was an old alligator bred dog, is how he was bred. And he was a black dog though. He was the worst black dog I ever seen with mange.
Dang. The brother Ronnie said when we was talking to the guy on the yellow interview, he was saying something about David Tant had held Mayday and his litter back and stuff because he had a problem with Mr. Hollingsworth. And so like he said, we know that Mayday is off Dolly, but all the stuff that was going on with Tant and what we found out, certain things, we really don't know if he off yellow or not. You know what I'm saying? But that's just dog talk that we can just talk about. We can't prove none of that stuff, and we just got to go by our paper at the end of the day, brother Ronnie. I mean, you can't really discredit them if we don't got no type of story or proof about it. We do got the Dolly story that the brother said, you know what I'm saying? So we got that Dolly story, but when it comes to everything else, if a brother get out here and give a story about a certain old school or dog man or something, we can choose to believe him or don't believe him, but we can't go off of it until we get somebody firsthand point of view about it. I can't believe something you say about Garner or something you saying about the next dog kennel if you talking from the outside of the glass, But when we get brothers who had a little experiences with certain things and want to give their story, we can only go by that, and then you as a man make a decision whether you want to believe it or not believe it, or Now, when the Boudreaux dogs, man, if I got 20 dogs, how many of them may be human aggressive?
I wouldn't say human aggressive. They might be nippy. Some of them will kind of mouth you. You might get some of that. But what you really gotta watch out for, especially if you're old or like with kids, because they really, really get wound up during, like if you have them on chains and it's feeding time, or you got this male over there. It's good to keep, females between males and give them good distance between each other and stuff like that, because when they get to running that your spot, let's say you got them on a 12-foot chain and they're all hyped up, it's feeding time, whatever, and they're running around in circles, and that chain hits your ankles and you get wrapped up in it, or if a little kid's out there and gets wrapped up in that chain, and then the going to trying to hump on it because he's a wild animal, you know what I mean? Maybe not even trying to bite him, but more like I had some of them that would kind of mouth me, not bite me, but just kind of mouth me a little bit. But what that is, they just want you to pet them. But I never had one that would just straight up come after me. I wouldn't tolerate that.
Yeah.
At all.
Now, in that video I played a few minutes ago from the Tennessee incident, one thing I heard that the dog did, and I'm gonna bring up that point, she said the dog was trying to get her clothing articles. You got some dogs that will do certain things like that. They're not human aggressive, but they're just that jacked up that they grab anything like a shirt that's hanging kind of low to them or some kind of article they'll grab.
Yeah, they're fired up, and they something hanging out your pocket or whatever, and they look at it like a rope. You might have been flirt pulling with them or something at one point or another, and it's like a toy. They grab your pants legs. I don't know about you, but I've had my pants ripped plenty of times walking outside of a chain spot, not paying attention, where they come up and grab your pants leg, but they weren't trying to hurt me. They just wanted me to stay in there and pet them.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so, and some people don't know how to take that. If a dog grabs their pants or something, they think they're trying to get them, but really, you know, they just want to play. Get a rope and go play tug of war with them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know, that's one, or give one of them a rope and another one a rope, or busted up a water hose you got, and let them play tug of war. They like that kind of stuff,
Yeah. Yeah.
And there ain't nothing wrong with it. It gives them good exercise, and it's better than them just sitting out there not doing nothing.
You're right about that. Now, I want to answer a couple questions brother said in the chat real quick. One brother said, Brother Bubba said he had 3 off of that dynamite stuff, all was trash, garbage. I had 1 off that stuff of the Dynamo dog. Dynamo, I think, is off dynamite. He wasn't nothing. But like I said, that's the only one I had off of him. Now I want to get to what brother King Lone Swipe said. A ringworm can look like mange from scratching when they itch, and then it scabs up. Now, you're right about it, but you pay attention to a ringworm and you pay attention to mange, you'll see a little bit where you kind of a little bit different at, because the ringworms is going to kind of come in, you're going to start in your quarter size. Most time they start looking like quarters. When your mange come in looking different, you might get bumps and you ain't start losing hair yet. You know what I'm saying? You getting bumps around the face and stuff like that. And you start noticing around the eyebrows, you getting like bumps on it. And you ain't start losing the hair, then you start losing the hair and get red, and because they scratching and itching, and it's looking a little more irritated. Now with ringworms, like I said, they kind of start off in your circles. Because I had that dog I was training named Ace. He had got hold of something. I don't know what it was, but he had got some type of bacteria infection when he was about to leave out over here. And it had like 1,000 little dime size bald spots on him. Like his whole body started filling up from one side to the other. We thought it was ringworms. We thought it was hay mites, but the vet said none of that. It was some type of bacteria, not that he got in, but that his body just developed in his body, somewhere or another. They didn't really have no answer for it. They gave him some medication and it cleared up well. He looks, skin is pretty right now, and he never had that problem again. But that mange, man, that's a problem, brother. If any brother know they got it in their dog, that's one worth culling, or at least not worth breeding. At least try to keep it out. I don't know how you can, if your puppies don't come out with mange, I don't know how you can say that they don't got that gene if the mama got it or the daddy got it. So at the end of the day, with the money involved with the situations, I don't know if a brother gonna really call a damn red mange dog if it's still functional, if it ain't all the way down bad where he looked so destroyed or whatever, and his mange just took his whole body over. I think a brother will get him back right and just breed him.
You can get them if they get that mange real bad. You can get them back right. There's lots of stuff you can do. You can do for mange. Number 1, go to the vet. Number 2, get you some new stock and rub that dog down with new stock and get that skin moisturized. And then as far as them ringworms goes, if a ringworm's it's gonna have a circular pattern, but it also raises up. And a ringworm is a fungus. It's not a bacteria.
Yeah.
If a human gets a ringworm, you can use stuff like you would use on your feet if you got athlete's foot, like Lotrimin, or there's different stuff that'll kill it because it's a fungus. But if that ring gets in your hair, like a dog has hair follicles everywhere unless its belly's really bald, which most of the time they even got hair there. But if a human gets a ringworm in their hair, then they're going to have to get rid of that. You can try to put Lotrimin and different types of creams on there that's for fungicide and get it out of there. And I know this from experience because I was a wrestler. They get on the mats and stuff like that. But once they get in your hair, you have to take a peel to get rid of it because it's in your hair follicle. So when a dog gets ringworms, you need to go to your vet and ask them for, it's Fulvicin. I believe it's called Fulvicin. And it'll be 250 milligrams. And what that'll do is it'll get down in that hair follicle and kill it from there, because the fungus has went down into that hair follicle And now when the hair follicle comes out, it reinfects and keeps infecting. So you can't use creams. You got to use Fulvicin 250 pill.
Yeah.
And
Now
it'll.
let me ask, I ain't mean to cut you off, bro.
No, you're good.
Let me ask somebody in the chat, or you, if you know, fam, has Burn It All worked for anybody? Has Burn It All worked for anybody with the mange out there, my brothers and sisters? How about you, fam?
I never used it.
Me, I had a homeboy that he used it on his dog and it died. Because I tell you, I told him boys a story a while back. They put it on him in the wintertime and it wasn't fresh out the car. It wasn't warm or nothing. It was just some burnt oil that they had saved over. And I believe that dog froze. I don't know, think all don't freeze probably, but they put that dog, they filled that dog whole body up with black oil. And that dog looking like he had moose. It looked like moose was in it. You know how moose.
That's what I'm talking about. You know, that's just ignorant. I remember back in the day, whenever I was young, getting into the dogs and red, like you said, you seen red mange a lot more back then.
Yeah.
For what reason? It may be because of the dog food. I don't know. That's just an idea. But I've seen back in the day, people would put bacon grease, like they'd say, put bacon grease on it, you know. And back then we didn't have Google. We didn't have all these ways to get knowledge that these kids have today. So you just look to someone older than you for knowledge. And so the old time, they put some bacon grease on it. You'd be out there, your dog with bacon grease wasn't doing it no good, you know. It might give him some moisture. Maybe he feels a little better, but that red mange wasn't going nowhere.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know,
I even heard somebody one time say, burn a shoe and let your dog eat the ashes. And that'll help with certain things like that. You know, but not it just eat all the ashes directly, but I guess mix a little bit in his food and stuff with charcoal. I'm not sure if that helps or not.
Give him some beech nut and it'll worm him out. Get you some Levi Garrett. You know, that's the kind of stuff back in the day. That's the kind of stuff they did. But like, you know, everything evolves just like our dog food evolved, our technology evolves. We have to evolve with it. We can't be doing dumb stuff no more because we don't have no excuse. We have all the resources in front of us to study, to answer our questions. It's all in front of you. You just get on your phone and you Google it. Or use Chat GPT or whatever you got to use to get your information. So everybody can be a genius today. You just got to put some effort out and quit asking people that don't know. Do the research yourself.
Yep, you're right about that.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Let me see. I'm checking down in the chat real quick. Yeah, Vernon Star say red mange was passed directly by some. Oh yeah, man. I could believe probably everybody who been breeding for 15, 20 years and stuff like that and more, they probably done came across something that had bad genetics that they wanted to throw it into other dogs just because the dog was a good dog or something like that. You know how that go, man. And just imagine if you got a dog that the red mange is in his genes and it never pop out on the dog till the dog get 3 years old. You done spent 3 years of your life with the dog. You ain't gonna just give the dog up like that. You know what I'm saying?
No.
And you know, and sometimes, like I say, what if it never pop up on it? You got one of the dogs off the litter that it didn't pop up on. You know, it just laid dormant in the back in the dog. So we really, none of us really know. We just got to go off what we get, man, and what we can see, and hope we get better dogs. Because I mean, we really don't know about a lot of stuff. If we're not there when the brother's making the breedings, you know. And in today's time, we got a better chance of seeing all that stuff because all the technology and the social media and everybody posts their breedings and different things. But back in the days, man, you ain't had all that stuff to go by.
Nope.
Like you said, like we was talking about little remedies and the fork load, the tails and all that stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, it sounds funny now, but back then you heard that stuff and you either had to knew somebody that knew how to handle it or go to the vet or go by whatever you heard that, you know, somebody was doing that work.
Yeah, they'd have idiots out there feeding their dogs gunpowder thinking it was going to make them game.
Oh my goodness, boy. That's the number one thing you always heard where I'm from when we were little.
Yeah.
Feeding a dog gunpowder makes them mean. You want them to be mean, feed them some gunpowder.
Yeah, just dumb. So
it drives them crazy. It
I-
drives them wild. Drives them mad wild.
Yeah.
Feed them some gunpowder. Now I tell y'all boys who got them curs and them dogs, you just can't get jumped up. Just feed him some gunpowder and he might be a bulldog. But I gotta say after I make that statement, that was only a joke. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't want none of y'all to go out there and do that, man. OPD told me to feed my dog some gunpowder.
Yeah, take a good dog and run him, make him ignorant.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That was
man.
really the stuff that went, people really said stuff like that back in the day. And, they didn't know there wasn't a way to get information like there is today.
But listen, man. Can you imagine all the people that did it and said it worked? Oh man, I gave my dog gunpowder. Boy, that junk was crazy. You know, some people out there that say that gunpowder work for their dog now.
Oh yeah.
It might not be real dog people. It might be people that just had a pit bull, but not really game dog people like how we is. But somebody said that gunpowder worked for their dog. Man, that gunpowder, it had to be if they kept saying it. The old schoolers, they had to come from people from the 60s and the 70s. Or somebody around that area.
Say, go give it to that champion boxer then. Let him kick some ass.
Mm-hmm.
You think that champion boxer would eat some gunpowder? Hell no.
Hell no. Your dog might not eat his food when you mix that gunpowder up in it, man. He probably smart enough to go smell it. Like, something ain't right with this food right here. I'll wait till he bring another batch out. I don't lie to you. He might just gobble it down.
That's probably shooting it down their throat and hold their mouth shut and blowing on their nose or something. You never know what they're doing to try to get down on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're right about that. Yes, sir, man. I want to send a big salute to all the dog brothers doing the YouTube channels like I always do. Big salute to the brothers down in the chat. Everybody watching from afar, man. All across the country, all across the world, like I always say, man. Let's see what these brothers talk about in the chat down here real quick. Now, brother Bub One say, you want to start a good family of dogs in 2024? Go get you a good red boy and a good Boudreaux dog and thank him later. Well, you heard him. He said, go get you a good red boy, good Boudreaux. Any of y'all brothers ever make them crosses and give you some good dogs? Think that brother Bubba 101. When you gonna thank him, unless you know who that is, unless you know who that really is, unless you come in my chat and say, tell Bubba 101, I say thank you whenever he come back. So big salute to you, Bubba 101. You make that breeding dog unless you done made it already.
It's nothing that's been done.
Yeah. I can see that being, and I actually don't see that why that's not one of the top lines or heavy Boudreaux red boy dog is not the top of the rum list. I don't see why not with them. And a lot of times it comes from dogs not being bred together. Maybe the right red boy dogs weren't bred with the right Boudreaux dogs during the time period, maybe. Because Mr. Boudreaux, he got a good 100 years in this thing.
Yeah.
So ain't no telling, you had to catch red boy just in that little era, but Mr. Boudreaux been running this thing for a while.
Oh, yeah.
It seems like that Boudreaux and that red boy stuff will make a hell of a cross. If it's bred pure, heavy, I say line bred to line bred or inbred to inbred.
Yeah.
Like that make a hell of a cross.
Or, a good, like you said, a red boy Jocko and I know, I know for a fact that there's been red boy Jocko dogs bred to Eli dogs and made good dogs. So all them dogs, there's only so many families. They've all been crossed up, and there's nothing you can do that ain't been done. You may tweak this or tweak that, or get a little bit of this there and a little bit of that there, but pretty much everything you can think of with these dogs have been done at one time or another.
Yeah, you're right about that.
Yeah.
Everybody think they the first one to do something. Somebody done did it many years before you.
Yeah.
Many years. Let me see. Oh, I know I meant to talk about too as well. I seen one brother ask why the Cottenham dogs aren't spoke about as much in today's time. Why people don't use them as much in today's time. And my little answer to that is I don't really know too many like they don't have a lot of dogs out here in the system. You know, you got the red man dog, then you got brothers who got Cottenham bred dogs, but they so far back and they wasn't line bred. They wasn't line bred off the Cottenham stuff. So a lot of people say they got the Cottenham and they just got Cottenham name in their pedigree in the 7th, 8th generation or the 4th, 5th generation, got it one time coming down off of some of that old school stuff. And you really didn't line breed it. I think they had great dogs. I don't know them brothers personally, but I think they had great dogs. I think it just it comes to the point where they wasn't around to keep breeding their dogs, selling them to everybody. When it got to that point where everybody making sales and getting their dogs out across the country, I don't think they made it to that point. You know, they was in the the Wild Wild West days, but when it started getting to that social media and taking the dogs out here, they kind of fell back. And the people that had their dogs, it started getting to the point where you buying the popular dogs, the dogs that's the popular ones, the ones that Mayday and the Jeep dogs and the dogs that's more easy to get. And year after year after year go by, if they ain't doing no line breeding, them Cottenham dogs going further and further back, further and further back. And then that's just my opinion why brothers don't really speak on it, because we don't really got too much of it.
Yeah.
And then, like I said, whoever had the dogs back then, nobody really kept a family to modern day time that's line bred off nothing but Cottenham dogs. If you did, they would have been able to talk about them and say something about the breedings or who like the dogs or who don't like them. But, you can't really. Garner, the only one really got the red man dog that he doing, up-to-date breedings with him as far as modern day time.
Yeah.
Everybody else dog is way back in the pedigrees as far as the Cottenham stuff.
Yeah, your Cottenham, Hollands.
Yeah, you ain't heard Holland's name in a while. You used to see that a lot back in the days, the Holland stuff.
Bailey.
But you see more Hollands than you see the other dogs that we talking about.
Yeah, they crossed all them red boy lines, all them families of red boy dogs. They bred them all together over the years. If you get one that's really hot on any of that red boy blood, pretty much all of them, you'll have Bingo in there. It might be a Cottingham dog and still have Bingo or Red Bone or some of that other stuff in there.
Yeah, just like really, you don't got nothing too much. Even since we speaking about red boy, you got a few red boy lines out there. You got the Hollands. People still got some Holland stuff. People got a lot of that Bingo stuff and certain things. But as time went on, a lot of them red boy dogs that we talk about, a lot of the people just fell away, stopped breeding, stopped doing whatever, and they didn't really make it to that social media time where people were selling it and flushing the dogs all across the country. So they kind of stayed in that area, or certain people had them. Like we were speaking about Mr. Bass with the red boy dogs coming from this area directly off red boy, and the people that had them. Like we know Lady Dogman that we speak about, Miss Marlowe and them. Like if she would have made it to the social media time where she can get her dogs out to everybody, how everybody started doing it in the early 2000s and stuff like that. We'd probably had more of Mr. Bulldog or this dog instead of just having, the more famous dog in a yard. And right now, I think we got 50% Bailey's Bingo. We got a good percentage of the Hollands red boy stuff. And then you got other brothers with red boy dogs, but it's small percentages of it out there, like 5% of these brothers with Robinson stuff, or 10% of these red boy dogs out there. But that Bingo is pretty much some of the heaviest red boy dogs out there.
Yes.
When it comes to a lot of brothers having it.
Really stood the test of time over everything, it seems like.
Yep. And no line bred.
But two different totally. If you take a heavy bred red boy dog today, and you take a one of them Boudreaux bred dogs, Boyson bred Eli dogs, Eli Junior dogs, and totally different personalities. There's a lot of difference between those two dogs. Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, they're both pit bulls and everything. But to me, like the red boy dogs are way more people dogs. You know, like they just with the Eli dogs, they can be like that too. But with the red boy dog, they don't require the attention that an Eli dog requires to be a great people dog. An Eli dog you got to give it everything you need to make it a house. You know, everything. He's got to be your center of attention to make him a house dog. Where a red boy dog, he can come inside. You can put him out there. He just kind of seem like they just kind of are more people dogs to me. Yeah,
they are people dogs. At least the ones I've seen.
Yeah, friendly dogs. You know what I mean? Just with people, as far as that goes, kids and stuff like that. You know, them Eli dogs and Zebo dogs, Boyson, all them dogs, they have a worse reputation for biting and being man, being man aggressive dogs, I think, than your red boy type dogs.
Yeah, you're right about that.
But is what it is.
Yeah, them boys in the chat like that red boy Eli stuff.
Yeah. It'll make a good dog. It'll probably make a better dog. You know, it'll calm them Eli dogs down a little bit where they're not so crazy. You know, they can be pretty dogs.
Yeah. Hey man, I appreciate you rocking with me tonight, Trevor. Man, I appreciate everybody in the chat. It's your boy PBK9. Y'all don't forget to hit that like button before you get up out of here. Y'all stay safe. Y'all stay legal. And remember where you get it from first, man. You know what I'm saying? PBK9s and them CNN satellites from outer space hit my facts and say, oh, it's going down. We got some action in Tennessee. So I had to give it to y'all brothers today, man. Y'all stay safe out there, man. Y'all stay legal. Tell stranger, man, stay safe out there. Stay legal. Keep doing the right things with these dogs like we always do, my bro. You know what I'm saying? Vernon Star, salute to you, man. Y'all have a good night. PBK9s, me and Trevor, man, we out.